It's a cooler day tomorrow, the high 67. Clouds and sun, breezy, cool day on Sunday, the high 63. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Right now, 59 at O'Hare, 62 Midway, 52 Aurora, 54 Joliet, 53 in Wheeling, 62 Lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
An important message from Byram Healthcare. If you live with diabetes, you know how challenging and painful it can be to manage your blood sugar. Whether you have private insurance, traditional Medicare, or Medicaid, that can all change. If you inject insulin or have hypoglycemic events without insulin, you may qualify to receive at little or no cost, less copay and deductible, a continuous glucose monitor. It provides blood sugar readings with no uncomfortable finger sticks. It alerts you in real time to potential spikes and lows with your blood sugar levels. Byram Healthcare has been named Best Overall Diabetes Supply Company 4 years in a row by Verywell Health. We carry all major brands and will work with your insurance to get your CGM approved. If you have diabetes, call a U.S.-based Byram Healthcare specialist now. See if you qualify and end the finger stick.
Call 888-912-9434. 888-912-9434. That's 888-912-9434.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Your local State Farm agent, Anthony DeGrotto, combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. You can combine your home, auto, and life insurance to not only save you money, but give you the peace of mind you've been looking for. Anthony DeGrotto is your go-to agent in Chicagoland. He and his team will work for you to provide the best service you expect at the price you want. Combine your home, auto, and life insurance today. Anthony DeGrotto will help you mix and match things perfectly. His State Farm office is a top pick 2024 Daily Herald Reader's Choice Award winner. He's a proud supporter of Tunnel to Towers and like-minded as you. His State Farm agency is currently looking to add members at their Roselle office. Call Anthony at 847-895-1500 today or visit DeGrottoSF.com. That's DeGrottoSF.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidiscipline practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930, 630-830-4930, or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
I'm Seth Leibson for Townhall.com. Before he wrote his classic novel, 1984, George Orwell wrote an essay where he put it that political speech was increasingly becoming distorted so as to defend the indefensible and used to support that which, in its clear and obvious meaning, would never be supported. We see this everywhere now. Killing an unborn child today is reproductive rights. The effort to change a person's sex is labeled gender affirmation. Violence is mostly peaceful. Peaceful and patriotic marching is insurrection, and freedom of speech is purportedly protected by disinformation governance boards. Once you take away the ordinary meaning of things, once you distort clear language or a phrase for its opposite, Orwell warned, you can convince people of things that they would otherwise never support. That's why an unborn child became a fetus, after all. Orwell opened his famous novel instructing that war is peace and slavery is freedom. It's all around us now, which is why we have a saying here, MOFA, make Orwell fiction again.
Quick delivery service. What do you need delivered today?
Hi, I'm trying to work through a last-minute to-do list for my boss. Can you deliver a hard drive to the Loop in Chicago?
We can deliver that today.
Okay, can you deliver 20 boxes to a client in Rockford?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver 12 pallets of tile to our customer in Naperville?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver a large envelope to Northbrook?
We can deliver that today.
Oh my gosh, I think my water just broke. Can you...
We cannot deliver that.
Quick Delivery Service delivers your package no matter the size. More than just a messenger service, Quick Delivery Service is a messenger and trucking service that can also provide scheduled routes for your daily delivery or your air shipment. Trucks are equipped to handle the load and provide ground-level service for same-day delivery. The Quick Delivery Service team of safe, licensed professionals can provide quick door-to-door service for your special delivery. QuickDelivery.com. That's QuickDelivery.com. We deliver that today. But we don't deliver this.
I'm worried about Mom. She's having a tough time moving around the house.
Oh, I know. She still thinks she can do everything on her own.
Exactly, but I've been over there every day this week, helping her navigate the stairs, cooking meals, reminding her to take her medicine. I'm always nervous when I leave.
You know what? I admire you for taking care of Mom. But your family needs you too. And what if she slips and falls? A friend recommended the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. They service Cook, DuPage, Kane, and Will counties. They guarantee compatibility and they'll conduct a free safety assessment of her home. Plus, they'll provide as little or as much care as Mom needs.
Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, offering both hourly and live-in care. Schedule a free assessment today by calling 331-281-0728. That's 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
After decades of treasured experiences and cherished moments, you want to feel the best that you can. Whether it's cheering on your grandchildren at their baseball games, planting new flowers in your yard, or simply spending quality time with loved ones. Take Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements along with you. Made from whole fruits and vegetable ingredients, they are free from added fillers or preservatives. Embrace life's adventures with confidence, knowing you're getting more variety of fruit and vegetable ingredients every step of the way. Start your journey with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So Barack Obama now on the trail with Kamala. Yeah, you know, I mean, he's part of ostensibly orchestrating this. So, hey, this is, you couldn't get somebody better. You couldn't figure out a way to replace Biden with somebody that you really wanted. So this is what you're stuck with. And so, you better get out there and take ownership of it, which is what he was doing in Pittsburgh yesterday.
Makes me so nervous. I just want him to stay retired, be quiet like George W. Bush.
Makes you nervous. Why?
Because he's actually good. He's an excellent speaker. I know that he's spewing lies, but he can complete a sentence. He's not Kamala. He's not Joe Biden. He's much better at, riling up a crowd, at gaining their attention and sending the message home to go vote for Kamala.
Yeah. This is what he said at his little rally, quote unquote, riling the crowd up.
Okay, fine. I'll hear. I'll be open-minded.
And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy.
Oh, no, he didn't!
We had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I did that.
It wasn't something he did.
I did it.
So, without even getting into the data, just work the logic of that a little bit.
Oh, that's
if it was your economy, then why didn't they stick with you? Why didn't they stick with Hillary Clinton? If it was your economy and things were so plucky, then why the revolt against what was? Why the revolt against the status quo? Just hand the baton over to Hillary Clinton and let's keep it going.
Yeah, but Hillary was so unlikable. I mean...
Yeah, and the underlying premise of what Barack Obama is saying is a lie. And the interesting thing about this is, I wonder, a decade now removed from Barack Obama, if there's a lot of Barack Obama voters, particularly that are now Trump voters, and there's a lot of them, and specifically black voters. If you look back on Obama less fondly than you thought you would. In other words, I mean, the revolt that happened in 2016 and has been present for the last decade, making landfall, receding. Well, that's a rejection of the previous 20 to 25 years of Republicans and Democrats, including Obama, isn't it?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. You can also text us on that line.
How did that seminal speech from Michelle Obama, we were told at the time, how did that, remember that from the DNC 3 years ago? I mean, it's just a couple of months ago, but it seems like that long. How'd that hold up? That recaptivate all of the people who voted for Obama and put them in Kamala's camp? Clearly not. I don't think the Obamas have near the currency that some people think they have.
Like this girl? Yeah.
Well,
okay.
and what Kamala hopes they have. It's not there. And, this rap is tired because this guy was actually rather a droll. He's a bore. He's a cipher. He's better at being a cipher than Kamala Harris, no question about it.
Okay.
But he is not a great orator. Because to be a great orator, to be a great rhetorician, you have to have something substantive to say. If you don't have anything substantive to say, you know what you are? A huckster. And that's what he's always been. While you and your friends in the Chicago Press Corps were weeping over his election in 2008.
I watched them cry. I sat there shocked. Like you're crying over this?
It's felt like the aspirations of working people have taken a back seat to the priorities of the rich and the powerful.
You're rich and powerful.
So I get it.
By Holmes.
Why people are looking to shake things up. I mean, I am the hopey changey guy. So I understand people feeling frustrated and feeling we can do better. What I cannot understand is why anybody would think that Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that is good for you, Pennsylvania. I don't understand that. Because there is absolutely no evidence that this man thinks about anybody but himself.
Well, two things on that. One is I'm the hopey changey guy. Exactly. Thank you for confirming what I just said in my setup, which is that you're a huckster, you're a flim-flammer, you're the music man. I'm the hopey changey guy. I'm the slogan guy, remember? That's what you're saying. I'm Ron Popeil. Yeah, I know. That's number one. Number two is it's such an interesting statement. I mean, this is the handle they have on Trump in part, that he doesn't care about anybody but himself, and we care so much about you. It's an interesting timing. The timing of that statement is interesting, given what we've seen over the last 48 hours with Trump hosting 250 linesmen at his place in Doral for response to the hurricane and getting those guys, making sure they have shelter and getting fed because they're going to be working long hours to try to restore power in Florida.
As soon as the storm passed, they were out there working.
It just doesn't wash. And if the country really believed what Barack Obama is saying, and I'm talking about the voters they're trying to get back into the fold, then you would see very different attendance at Trump rallies. You would see very different stickiness for a guy who is facing, a myriad charges across multiple federal criminal trials and so on and so forth. He would have gone away. Phil in Maryville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. Yeah, Obama talks like he said, he handed down such a great economy. Trump and Obama's policies were completely opposite, for taxes, regulation, foreign policy. If Trump was so bad, obviously the opposite policies should have just crashed the economy, but it didn't. We prospered under Trump, and I'm just getting tired of these Democrats lying constantly. And I mean, it's just, we need them back in there, and that's the end of the story. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call, Phil. Coming up at 5:38, in addition to riling up the crowd at that rally, Obama had a tough talk.
Uh-oh.
A real talk.
Is it getting real around here? Yeah.
With the brothers.
Oh.
His term. The brothers. And he was essentially trying to explain to them why the energy among the brothers for Kamala isn't what it was for him and why it needs to be. 5:38.
And later, why are women with serious jobs doing stupid interviews? We'll explain. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
5:30 on AM 560, The Answer. This morning, police say gunmen have killed at least 20 minors, wounding 7 others in Pakistan's southwest. It comes just days ahead of a major Southeast Asian security summit being hosted in the Pakistani capital. Authorities say 1 person has been killed. Around 12 have been rescued after being trapped for hours about 1,000 feet below ground at a former Colorado gold mine when an elevator malfunctioned at the tourist site. Teller County, Colorado Sheriff Jason Mikesell explains how the death happened.
Once they were able to identify that there were no other issues that could cause a problem with the equipment, they were able to lower it back down without anyone in it and then bring it back up to make sure that it was going to run correctly. And then we decided on a plan to go ahead and do that, bring them back up.
The elevator was descending Thursday into the Molly Kathleen gold mine near the town of Cripple Creek when it had mechanical trouble. 14 are dead after Hurricane Milton ravaged Florida's coast. Floridian Dan Maddox says he rode out the storm in St. Pete.
Irma may come a little bit close, but feeling the wind, this was definitely a wind effect. And there's just no other way to describe it other than deadly.
Milton made landfall Wednesday night as a Category 3 hurricane.
Trash is going to be picked up tomorrow. It's going to be Thursday's collection, but it's going to get collected. And then on Saturday, the Friday collections will get done. The buses are going to start running again.
That's Manatee County Information Outreach Manager Bill Logan says Governor Ron DeSantis has been done a good job spooling things back into normal in Florida. But the damage is still extensive, and 2.5 million customers are still without power. This year's Nobel Peace Prize being awarded to a Japanese organization, mostly comprised of survivors of the U.S. atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Vice President Harris telling supporters in Arizona why it's important they get out and vote.
This will be a very tight race until the very end. And we are the underdog.
Donald Trump proposed deducting interest from auto loans during an economic pitch in Michigan.
Under Biden and Harris, because of inflation, the economy has been a total disaster. But Kamala says that she can't think of one thing that she would do differently.
At the Detroit Economic Club Thursday, Trump chided the White House for keeping inflation higher than when he was in office. Authorities here in Chicago investigating after a witness told police they found a box containing human remains on a sidewalk on the city's near west side. It was found in the 2600 block of West Taylor. A person of interest being questioned after an 8-year-old boy was shot on the southwest side. Chicago police say the child was inside of a home in the 3800 block of West 87th when someone he knew opened fire, striking him in the chest. The boy was rushed to a nearby hospital in fair condition. Detectives believe the shooting may have been accidental. Jury selection proceeding in the federal corruption trial of former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan. A jury now has a total of 8 members after 5 individuals were added Thursday on day 2 of jury selection. And Paws Chicago is caring for more than 20 hurricane dogs rescued and then relocated after Hurricane Helene. The 21 canines arrived at the animal shelter yesterday from Tennessee after floods ravaged the area from Helene. Paws Chicago today, seeking foster parents like you for the animals. Chicago sports, the NFL continues its London series when the Bears and Jacksonville meet at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday. By the way, that game kicks off at 8:30 in the morning. Blackhawks in search of their first win when they visit Winnipeg tonight. College football tonight, Northwestern will visit Maryland. And some big games in high school football tonight. Number 12, Joliet Catholic. Number 2, Mount Carmel. And Fenwick will battle Bennett Academy tonight. The news, a service of Team Hochberg. They've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners with the best rates and service. Let Team Hochberg help you by visiting 56david.com or 855-563-2843. Lower.com equal housing lender. NMLS 1124061. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This radio station is always on, but sometimes you need more content that you can take with you anywhere. That's why we invented the SalemPodcastNetwork.com. You'll find all the great hosts on this radio station, plus a few more, like Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, Trish Regan, Jenna Ellis, and Dennis and Julie. There's literally no end to what we can teach you. It's like radio on demand, and just like radio, it's always on. Go find out what you're missing. Download the app, SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
If you own or run a business and you listen to AM 560, you might not realize that the conservative programming that you enjoy is supported by advertisers. Our loyal listeners love to do business with the advertisers they hear every day on AM 560. Now, it probably won't surprise you that there are some businesses who avoid advertising with us because they don't like what we do here. And that's okay, because our audience wants to support businesses that support what we do and think like we think. We would love to have you join the list of successful companies who are already reaching new, like-minded customers. Most AM 560 advertisers have been here for years for one simple reason: they get results. Join our efforts to make a difference in the lives of our listeners who are passionate about supporting our great family of AM 560 advertisers. To learn more, just visit 560theanswer.com/advertise. That's 560theanswer.com/advertise.
Few understand the impact this election may have on their retirement savings. In less than 30 days, our entire economy could face a monumental shift that could destroy a huge amount of value many Americans have stored in their 401ks or IRAs. In times like these, the most trusted store of wealth in human history stands out: physical gold and silver. Many Americans have looked to True Gold Republic for help. They specialize in helping those with a 401k, IRA, or other retirement accounts convert their stocks and bonds into physical gold and silver to protect their hard-earned savings. True Gold is offering listeners a free copy of their Election Gold Protection Kit today. To claim yours, call 800-300-GOLD. This information is free and might very well save your comfortable retirement. By acting before the election, you can still make a tax and penalty-free conversion with the help of True Gold's award-winning team. Call 800-300-GOLD. That's 800-300-GOLD. True Gold Republic is not a financial advisor. Consult with your tax advisor before investing. Call 800-300-GOLD.
We know know what a woman is. And at Natural Womanhood, we believe that a woman's fertility is beautiful, powerful, and healthy, not something to be controlled or destroyed by doctors and big pharma. Women deserve better. Women deserve to know and claim the uniqueness of their natural female bodies. Women deserve access to authentic, holistic, and restorative reproductive health solutions. Women deserve to know they have real solutions beyond birth control for treating menstrual cycles issues or for family planning. Options without harmful side effects. Natural Womanhood produces high-quality, informative articles, podcasts, and videos to empower women to know and love their bodies. Find evidence-based information about birth control issues and alternatives, cycle issues like endometriosis, infertility, IVF, and more. Break free from big pharma, get healthier, learn how to work with your doctor to diagnose and treat cycle issues, or learn how to start conversations with resources from Natural Womanhood. Access the latest articles and podcasts, or even get a free consultation at naturalwomanhood.org. Visit naturalwomanhood.org today.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
5:39, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Stevenson right now elevating quite a bit between Ashland and the Ryan Merge, already at 25 minutes into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. I-57, you have an exit ramp closed with ongoing road work. It's the off-ramp to Halstead. Inbound on the Bishop Ford, already slowing up between 103rd and the Ryan Merge. Traffic, a service of Trim Light Chicago. Don't let hanging holiday lights get you into a Scrooge mood. 'Tis the season to save time, money, and energy with permanent, programmable holiday lighting for your home. Get your free quote today at trimlight-chicago.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Partly sunny and breezy, a high of 86 today. Partly cloudy and mild, low 58. Some sun tomorrow with showers mixed in and the start of noticeably cooler weather for the next 7 days. High 67. Currently, we have 55 degrees. Your next news update is coming up at 6, and Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We're talking about Barack Obama getting up and out for Kamala on the trail, appearing at a rally in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's going to be going throughout the state of Pennsylvania, the key swing state that they need to win in. Meeting with groups of people to get him motivated, Dan. Now's the time.
He had a separate campaign event, private, small group campaign event, to speak with black gentlemen about the lack of the joy vibe taking hold among black male voters. Very concerned about this. Here's what he had to say in this small group setting. Tough talk.
Communities is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
The brothers.
So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
Y'all.
Y'all.
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. said to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You'll have to excuse Barack Obama's Hawaiian accent there. That's how they say brothers. Brothers. That's how they say it in Hawaii.
They say y'all in Hawaii,
yeah,
too. It was
that's
very
how it's
strange.
Hawaiian accent. So let me get with you on this. He went on to say, and you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Problem with sitting this one out. I'm talking to you, my brothers. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, these are Obama's words, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. Oh, you aren't feeling that idea. He's so street, the streets of Honolulu. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. He goes on, does Obama. Women in our lives have been getting our backs the entire time.
That's true.
What does
What
it
does that
mean?
even mean?
When we get
We
in
give birth to you people, yeah.
when we get in trouble and the system isn't working for us, they're the ones out there marching and protesting. And now you're thinking about sitting out or supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable. Boy, I tell you, that is almost as powerful a statement against male toxicity as Doug Emhoff has issued. I'm sure the black gentlemen that Barack Obama was talking to were properly chastened and moved to break out into the streets and start campaigning for Kamala, right? Like I said, I think this guy is so past his sale date.
Or his Best Buy date.
He is not moving the needle for Kamala.
right.
There are no Obama coattails anymore. That's my supposition. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. The funny thing about it is,
What?
there were no Obama coattails at the height of his popularity. People forget. Democrats lost literally 1,000. They were down like 1,000 to 1,200 local offices during the ascendancy of Barack Obama. People like Tim, they thought, oh, isn't this, some people thought, they thought, isn't this nice? We'll make history. We'll have a black president. It'll improve race relations. As Joe Biden famously said, he speaks well.
Oh, my God.
He's
I know.
clean.
He's clean. Remember that?
Yeah, the typical.
People seem to forget. Like, he's a nice black man. He's a black man I could wrap my arms around.
Right. So
sick.
this made white leftists feel good about themselves, and it was very exciting. And the kids thought this was going to be some paradigm shift for the country. But so he was personally popular for a time.
Right.
But he had no coattails politically. And you think he does now, 10 years removed, after they've gotten paid off?
And they have 5 homes. Talking about the rich millionaire. He is a rich millionaire. He has 5 homes, and one in Martha's Vineyard's worth $11.5 million. Which I don't fault him for that. Good for him. But then don't start.
The whole rap.
Hypocritical.
The whole, then you put on the accent. I ain't know why he's tired. My brothers.
And then don't forget Kamala when she Jamaica mom.
Have you no empathy, man? You know, for the suffering of other people.
Come on.
Have you no?
Yeah, I got it. No woman, no pride. I got it.
Still just
Monica and Lyle.
not AI, folks.
Yeah, they talk about Trump as being some sort of salesman. Well, I look at Barack Obama as a used car salesman trying to sell us a lemon. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. That's the way I look at it. And, he, as far as I'm concerned, he's now the man. He left Chicago and moved to Martha's Vineyard to become one of them. So as far as the black community is concerned, especially the men, they look kind of that as a betrayal as well, I think, too, especially among some of the activists.
But don't forget,
Thanks for the call,
he
Monica.
and Michelle live 3 miles from the White House. That's their main residence. So I think he's been pulling the strings this whole time when Biden's been in office.
Bill, Northwest Side.
Yeah, whenever you hear Obama speak, doesn't the phrase pompous ass come to mind right away?
Yeah, among others, yes. Thanks for the call, Bill. Mm-hmm. Mark, Oak Lawn.
Hey, Dan, thanks for taking my call. You know, Obama, the black folks, they're so desperate for a leader, and they haven't had a real sound leader in a long, long time. And Obama, he just works on people's emotions, and the fake news, the people really don't know what's real and what's not. And his emotion, I think it's going to move the needle. And it's too bad that a guy like Bush can't get off his horse and do something for Trump, because our country is going to go down the tubes, and Bush is just sitting there like a clown.
I don't think Bush helps. I don't think Obama helps. If George W. Bush offered to campaign for Trump, I would politely decline.
He would say no.
It is completely off-brand. I know, build a big tent and bring in the never-Trump Republicans. It's not going to happen.
Are they going to bring out Bill Clinton next?
Point is that these attitudes about Trump are baked in now. And you're not going to have some people don't see this. Some flim-flamming guy doing what he's supposed to do for his party and his candidate is going to come make that last-minute appeal like it's your best friend asking you to do a favor.
People should not forget that he didn't want Kamala Harris to be the VP. Nancy Pelosi publicly ripped on Kamala Harris during Joe Biden's
So we're here
first
now.
year.
Yes, so we're here now.
Yeah.
And the assessment of Obama's impact. It's negligible. Again, negligible for other people not named Barack Obama at the height of his popularity during his presidency. I mean, do people live through this? Do you not remember, I like the guy, but I don't like his policies? The impact of Obamacare politically for the Democratic Party, that midterm election. Do you remember the Tea Party?
Yeah.
So the idea that Barack Obama is this, it's this celebrity that has such cultural control, including and particularly over black voters as the first black president, it is a complete facade.
Well, I'll just never forget when he was first elected and he had control of the House and the Senate, and he still didn't pass the DREAM Act. It's like, now I know. Now you're showing your true colors.
Ben in Crown Point.
Hey, Dan and Amy. I find it funny that, he's sitting there scoffing black men for not voting for her because she's a woman, but more than half their base is only voting for her because she's a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I know. And
Thanks for the call, Ben.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a woman president. I don't care. You just want somebody competent in there.
What's going to be?
I'm not going to be like live my life like, I just need to have a female president. Who gives a rat's patoo? You want somebody competent in the job who's looking out for America's first interests.
What's going to be great about this election, and Trump's reelection, is the message it is going to send to people like Barack and Michelle Obama and all of the awfuls and male impersonators in wealthy suburbs around metropolitan areas in this country. You know what the message is? We don't need you. That's going to be the beautiful moment, the culmination of a 10-year battle to send a message to these intolerable leftist honkies in places like Wilmette and Hinsdale and Naperville. We don't need you. You're irrelevant. And that goes for the Obamas, too. Larry in Elmhurst.
Hey, good morning. Hey, on YouTube, there's this guy from Yemen. His name is Khalid Attaf. He does these pranks out of a gas station. And one of his pranks, it wasn't a prank. He was just asking all these young black males who they're voting for. And 99.9% of them said Trump. He said they're so sick of these Venezuelans in here taking our money.
Thanks for the call,
A
Larry.
lot of people that came here legally, Filipino friends of mine, Serbian, Argentinian friends, They would never vote for Trump. They are all voting for Trump.
Craig in Mount Greenwood. Hey, Craig.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, Craig?
Craig in Mount Greenwood.
Are you there? Are you being held hostage, Craig?
All right. Craig is otherwise occupied. George in Naperville.
Dan, give Obama some credit. At least he wasn't dumb enough to say, if you ain't black, you can't vote for Kamala, or you should vote for Kamala.
Yeah.
I got it all mixed up, but I just know what I mean.
You had an Amy moment there, yes.
Thanks for the call, George. Yeah. And he didn't say Trump's going to put y'all back in chains like Mitt Romney was going to.
Oh, yeah, right, Mitt Romney.
I mean, we've talked about that before, too, the race hustle. It's not gone, and it's not going away, but I think it's losing its appeal among an increasing percentage of black and brown voters, which is progress. George in Montgomery.
Yeah, I think the black community has had a chance to reflect on Barack's presidency, and I don't think that they're fond of it. I don't think they're as happy as he thinks they were.
I think
President Clinton is going out and campaigning for Harris Walls soon. I just read that as well. That's happening.
Yeah.
So they are.
It'll be a full court press soon.
They're going back.
Right. We ain't going back. We ain't going back, except we're going back to Barack and Bill. Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for the call, George. And that's what people don't want to go back to. And I'll tell you what, if this is the best they can muster, is that rap from Obama and this damage control from one of the co-campaign chairs, Mitch Landrieu,
oh my God,
former mayor of New Orleans.
Keep talking, dude.
Horrible. Nobody seems to be able to answer this simple question: how is Kamala distinctive from Biden? And they've had some time to workshop an answer that, could at least pass the laugh test.
Vice President Harris has been asked repeatedly how she's different than President Biden, and some people think she's been tripped up by answering that. How do you think she is different than President Biden?
Well, first of all, whatever the differences is between them, it's not nearly as vast as the difference between her and Donald Trump. She's obviously a woman. She is a woman of color, and she is of a new generation. So she is not Joe Biden, as much as they want to try to make her Joe Biden. But she was and is part of the Biden administration.
So the difference between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is one is an octogenarian male honky, and the other is a younger black female.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. And that means what to me in terms of my quality of life concerns or general concerns about America's future? It means nothing. They have nothing. They have identity, and that's it. And it's not going to be enough.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Keene Jr. of the Mail House, Inc., a family-owned and operated digital print mail house with a specialty in political advertising and a customer of Signature Bank. We knew that getting a loan to buy our business wouldn't be easy, so we turned to one of our trusted friends for a referral. She told us about the outstanding level of customer service her business received at Signature Bank since becoming one of their first customers in 2006. Today, we couldn't be happier. Not only did Signature help us finance the purchase of the mail house, but they supported our growth as we modernized our operations in mailing as well as from traditional to digital printing. If you're looking for a great bank to grow your business, take a look at Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, you've heard the turnkey name for years on AM 560, and maybe you've thought that you don't need help because you've made it this far with your network. But have you grown your business or acquired another business? Do you have more than one network that you've hobbled together? Maybe your sales team has grown, or your client base, or your network is old and outdated, holding your business back from its full potential. Well, guess what? All of these reasons can leave your business open for security breaches, stop production, compromise sales, and cost you thousands of dollars. So don't leave it up to hourly IT managers that come in when they're available. Turnkey understands the importance of having a network you can count on. Guess what? For the price of a monthly car payment, Turnkey will fully protect your network with the most secure, up-to-date cyber protection, unlimited backup, unlimited 24/7 help desk support, and real-time threat hunting, all by world-class technicians who really care about helping people. So protect your small business today. Visit turnkey.pro, the champions of small business. That is turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Two National Guardsmen from North Carolina allege that they were ordered to set up a photo op with Kamala Harris for supplies that were not delivered to Hurricane Helene victims. 606.
And DeSantis keeps fighting back. Love that guy. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Human remains found in a box on Chicago's west side. One is in custody after an 8-year-old boy is shot on the southwest side. Donald Trump stays in Chicago overnight. 2 men are charged with stealing hundreds of vases from suburban cemeteries. Chicago Marathon is coming your way on Sunday, while the Blackhawks visit the Jets tonight. WIND, Chicago News Time, 6.
It's up to at least 17 people dead after Hurricane Milton hit Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We're working very aggressively to get the roads cleared, get the power back on, and start bringing in all the resources we need so that our community can start trying to get back to normal.
Jody Fisk, Director of Public Safety in Manatee County. The damage extends from Florida's west coast, where Milton hit first, to the east coast, where there's tornado damage.
I am right outside of the Avenir community in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
Fox Weather's Kendall Smith out surveying this morning what a twister did there.
And it is significant damage. There is quite a bit of debris around me, lots of metal, lots of concrete. There were approximately 100 homes that have been damaged in this community.
Milton also caused storm surge flooding on the coast in some areas already damaged 2 weeks ago by Hurricane Helene. Milton's rain also has rivers rising, leading to water rescues and more flooding, and there are still about 2.5 million power outages. Vice President Harris, campaigning in Arizona and Nevada, vowed a strong federal response to the hurricanes.
To do the work of giving people the relief they need so immediately, plus a commitment to helping people in the long term.
Former President Trump and other Republicans are very critical of the response to Helene and its widespread devastation up to North Carolina. He will campaign today in Colorado and Nevada after being in Detroit yesterday. Now, former President Obama campaigned for Harris against Trump in Pennsylvania.
We don't need 4 more years of arrogance and bumbling and bluster and division.
But before that event, Obama visited a Pittsburgh Democratic office and warned that Harris is not seeing the same kinds of energy as when he was running, especially among black men. 2 people are dead in Deer Park, Texas, and 35 others injured in a chemical leak at an oil refinery. A shelter-in-place order for residents nearby has been lifted, no hazard reported in the community. They handed out the Nobel Peace Prize this morning to a group of nuclear activists from Japan, Nihon Hidankyo, an organization of survivors of the U.S. atomic bombings in Hiroshima and Nagasaki that ended World War II. America's listening to Fox News.
55 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities here in Chicago are investigating after a witness told police they found a box containing human remains on a sidewalk in the 2600 block of West Taylor on the city's near west side. Person of interest is being questioned at this moment after an 8-year-old boy was shot on the southwest side. The boy was taken from West 87th Street inside of a home to a nearby hospital in fair condition. Detectives believe the shooting may have been accidental. A jury deliberating in the trial of a Crestwood man charged with murdering a woman and their 14-month-old child. Anthony Maggio faces 6 counts of first-degree murder, accused in the strangulation death of Ashton Eaton and the smothering death of their daughter, Hazel. A man is seriously hurt following an apartment fire on Chicago's south side. The blaze began yesterday near 104th and South Claremont. The victim sent to the hospital with several injuries. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is blasting a recently passed ordinance that would give the police superintendent the power to extend the city's contract with ShotSpotter as illegal. Now, the conflict sets the stage for what city council members, led by Alderman David Moore, warn will be a long and grueling legal battle. Moore says it's been more than 2 weeks since ShotSpotter went offline, and the city has paid the price.
When you have a young lady over in the 10th ward not only being shot and sitting there overnight when that was possibly her life could have been saved from it.
A recent University of Chicago Crime Lab study found that ShotSpotter likely saves in the neighborhood of 85 lives per year by quickly alerting first responders to shootings. Chicago sports. Bears continuing preparations for Jacksonville in London. Sunday's game kicks off at 8:30. The Blackhawks visit the Jets tonight. Also tonight, Northwestern in action in Big Ten football, visiting Maryland. The Bulls take on Memphis at the UC tomorrow. The news, a service of Turnkey.pro. For less than the price of a monthly car payment, Turnkey will fully protect your network with up-to-date cyber protection, unlimited backup, unlimited 24/7 help desk support, and real-time threat hunting. Protect your small business today. Turnkey.pro today. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Get your tickets for Freedom Summit Chicago, Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. This year, featuring Dr. Sebastian Gorka, economist Stephen Moore, along with Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, John Anthony, and many more. This event will sell out, so get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by the Del Bacchio Marchetti Group of @Properties, Christie's International Real Estate, the Illinois Family Institute, and by Aid for Women.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is, Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal, from fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
6:07. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. This look at the roads, a service of Valdecast Windows for the discerning homeowner looking for high quality and professional level window replacement service. Contact Valdecast Windows, your award-winning Platinum Elite Pella certified contractor. Visit Valdecast.com. Kennedy inbound right now at 30 minutes. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Kennedy outbound, an accident left shoulder right now between Canfield and I-190 on your way out to the big airport. Delays on the tri-state this morning already stacking up northbound between I-88, the Reagan, and the Eisenhower Expressway. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast with Steve Williams.
Partial sun, breezy, a warm one today, high 86. Partly cloudy tonight, low 58. Partly sunny, a shower in spots, a much cooler day tomorrow, the high 67. More clouds than sun, breezy on Sunday, the high at 63. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
We are at 55 at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. This is a rather startling allegation. A podcast one second. All right. This podcast that's done by former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan. He hosted two North Carolina National Guardsmen who allege that they loaded an entire C-17 with supplies just so Kamala Harris could stage a photo op for Hurricane Helene.
And then also from that video, I started getting a lot of messages like to my Instagram from like actual like aircraft commanders, like squadron commanders.
No kidding.
I had a squadron commander from North Carolina reach out to me. They had to load a C-17 full of supplies just to take a photo op for Kamala. And they never sent the bird.
Wait a minute, what?
They loaded an entire C-17 full of supplies for the hurricane victims just for Kamala to go there, take a photo, take a video, and they never sent the C-17. It was
Are
just
you
a full.
serious?
Yeah, that was a National Guard, North Carolina National Guard unit. That was a 06 that reached out to me. And then I had another.
He reached out to you to tell you that they did a photo op and with the intention of never sending.
Never sent it. It was just a photo op.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. I'm so glad he came forward. But what about the unit commander? Shouldn't he be in trouble for letting the staging take place? I mean, they needed to be boots on the ground helping people in need instead of staging a photo op.
The accusation comes from aerial recovery members. You just heard from Jonathan Howard and Charlie Keebaugh. And again, this was on Sean Ryan's podcast, he's Navy SEAL. The squadron commander, whoever directed this, should be held accountable. Aerial Recovery, by the way, is a nonprofit focused on disaster response and humanitarian aid, which has been active in North Carolina after Helene. So these two guys are on the ground, and they talk to, you heard them recount. They talk to, colleagues they know who shared within this story. But it's gasp-worthy, I guess. But at the same by the same token, it's unsurprising, isn't it?
I mean, everything about her is fake, and she only cares about her image and not the people. I mean, don't forget, she did not go to the Hurricane Helene briefing, nor did Joe Biden. They chose not to, or even zoom into it.
It's unsurprising because this is the real attitude they have about, flyover country, about backwater America, which certainly Appalachia they would consider backwater America, wouldn't they? That, basically most of you people are photo op material. They have events to stage themselves with ordinary people to make them look like they care about ordinary people or they have the interests of ordinary people top of mind. but you're just mascots. I mean, that's what the party does. Now, both parties do it to some extent, I'm sorry to say, but I mean, that the mascot politics of the left in particular, while you're getting lectured by Barack Obama in Pittsburgh, sort of middle America, middle income households are getting lectured by Barack Obama. Black men are being lectured by Barack Obama about how Trump doesn't care about them and they do so much, and you better not vote against a woman because you have some latent misogyny that it's not manly to vote for a woman, or some such nonsense that nobody is talking about and very few people believe. But okay.
Got a text message. This is classic case of fraud. Harris is not should not be president, and she should see jail time for this. I don't know about that, but people forget too. While you guys were hunkering down in Florida, all over Florida, filling sand with sandbags, getting things ready, she's on Stephen Colbert drinking a Miller High Life.
So
she didn't care about you. She could give a rat's patooey.
So how many times are we going to hear rat's patooey today? The National Guardsmen, consistent with what we know from Kamala's efforts to stage Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis was supposed to be a prop too. Problem is, Ron DeSantis is a prop who strikes back.
Can you just speak to what happened there?
I am working with the President of the United States. I'm working with the Director of FEMA. I'm marshaling all my state assets. We've been doing this now nonstop for over 2 weeks between Helene and this. And so if there's anything I can leverage to benefit my people, I'm going to do it. The fact of the matter is they put out a story saying I didn't even know she was trying to reach me, but she has no role in this process. And I've been dealing with these storms in Florida under both Trump and Biden. Neither of them ever politicized it. And in fact, all the storms I've dealt with under this administration, although I've worked well with the president, she has never called in Florida. She has never offered any support. So what she's doing is she's trying to inject herself into this because of her political campaign. So as the governor here who's leading this, I don't have time for those games. I don't care about her campaign. Obviously, I'm not a supporter of hers, but she has no role in this process. And so I'm working with the people I need to be working with. We're leveraging the resources I need to be leveraging. And for her to try to say that my focus should be on catering to her rather than worrying about my own people just shows she doesn't understand what it means to respond to these natural disasters.
No, come on. Can't you at least just take a selfie with her, Governor? Something she can put on social media to show that she's in the fight, like the staging a C-17 full of supplies that don't get delivered.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. I love your governor. I mean, he just hit her right between the eyes. And he's not trying to score political points. He's just saying, I don't have time for this bull jive. I don't have time for her, silly little games that she's playing.
Roger DeKalb.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I just want to remind people of all the other horrible things that Barack Obama did in dividing this country. He jettisoned the real military leadership in his first term, all to be replaced with all these DEI people. So anything that comes out of the military these days is a direct result of Barack Obama's replacing real leadership with DEI garbage military people. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Roger. Well, I mean, that's Joe Obama's. That's all three terms of the Joe Obama era interrupted by Trump. Trumpus interruptus. And by the way, the diversity hires, as we well know, I mean, we've played the clips from these FEMA Zoom calls talking about the LGBTQIA community, and they need to be top of mind in disaster relief. Like somebody's trapped in their house and you care about what their sexual orientation is. It's so absurd, but this is who they are. We know from testimony. This is a couple of years ago. Deanna Criswell, remember this? We talked about it at the time. Didn't seem like it was that important. It seemed like it's a little bit more important now. Deanna Criswell, the then FEMA administrator, focusing on what? Diversity.
We also know the more our workforce resembles the nation we serve, the better that we will serve it. We are adapting our recruiting efforts to reach individuals from underrepresented communities. by partnering with his organizations like historically Black colleges and universities and other minority-serving institutions.
Mm-hmm. The composition of FEMA, that matters a lot. The composition of the people you save, that matters a lot. That's not matters a lot. That's the priority. And so we're in this place because they've been taking us to this place somewhat willing, and some people have gone along quite willingly, and some people have sort of gone along begrudgingly, but gone along nonetheless. And then, now you have real lives at stake. And hopefully this drives the point home. The Afghanistan withdrawal, there's these emergency response gambits. Joe in Hoffman Estates.
Hey, good morning, guys. Trump, I believe, is going to win and win pretty handedly, but he needs the House and the Senate for him to get anything done. Plus, I believe Clarence Thomas is going to retire. He's waiting for Trump to get in, but he's not going to be able to get anyone confirmed unless he gets the House and Senate. What's your thoughts?
Thanks for the call, Joe. I mean, obviously, you want the House and the Senate. I don't think Clarence Thomas is necessarily going to retire, even if they have the Senate. I don't know what's in Clarence Thomas's mind. I mean, he's early 70s. He's still got the chops if he wants to stay to continue to be a great jurist. So that's not clear to me. And in terms of the House and Senate, yeah, it certainly would be nice. And it would be nice if you had conservative reform leadership in the House and Senate. You do with Johnson. What the Senate's going to look like is an open question. But I expect, particularly if Trump wins, that you're going to see Republicans with probably a 3-seat majority in the Senate.
Okay.
So they're going to have a little bit of margin for error. But remember, for me, Trump is a lame duck right on day one. On January 20th, he gets inaugurated. He's a lame duck. And they're going to try to wait him out, and they're going to try to blockade him, even if they're in minority positions in the House and the Senate. So what he needs to do with all of his legitimate executive power is sort of a singular thing that encompasses multiple things. To attack the administrative state. I mean, the upper echelons of all of these agencies are gone, just categorically. RIF positions, get around the civil service protections by just eliminating jobs in the federal government. 20%, 40%, 70% of these agencies. So the flip side is the same executive power, and going after these agencies is to reestablish or change the culture inside agencies like the FBI, the Department of Justice, and to unleash agencies like DHS and Customs and Border Protection and ICE to do their jobs. That if he just, I mean, that's sort of a big category,
big ask,
but the administrative state, the permanent bureaucracy, that's what breeds these corrupt, politicized cultures. They're insulated from accountability. If you don't bring accountability and leadership change and culture change to the federal government, then the administration will have been a failure, because what's his top line value proposition? Make America great again. But how do you do that? Drain the swamp. He will have not done that. So my focus is draining the swamp is the shortest path to making America great again.
Can we play what Biden said to Trump yesterday? He did call him president, though. He did, when they were talking about misinformation, which I'm so sick of hearing about.
Have you spoken with former President Trump at all?
Are you kidding me? Mr. President Trump, former President Trump, get a life, man. Help these people.
Will you hold him accountable? You said you were going to hold those accountable.
Public will hold them accountable. You better than the press hold them accountable, because you know the truth.
Do you plan to speak with former President Trump?
No.
Okay, bye.
Bye. See you later. Go have your Jell-O.
Well, the President of the United States.
Yeah. I mean, I'm old enough to remember, Dan, a few weeks ago when Trump went to Georgia and handed out supplies, much needed supplies, and the people there were very thankful. And then 2 days later, 48 hours or plus, Joe Biden went to North Carolina.
Trump was right in part about what he said at the Detroit Economic Club about the threat to democracy.
Just don't like me. They say, who do you like better, Sleepy Joe Biden or Trump? Oh, I like Biden better. Yeah, because he let them do what they're doing. He doesn't have a clue, the guy. He just goes to sleep at 4 o'clock every damn day. He doesn't have a clue. And he's destroying, they're destroying our country. You see, that's the real threat to democracy, stupid people. That's the threat. Our biggest threat to democracy is stupid people.
Oh. Who knew there were that many Trump supporters in Detroit?
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
77 years old. I have a tax office. I still do taxes every year. My clients are amazed. I feel so much younger. I love it. I love the product. I tell everybody about it. I feel better. I'm just doing really good.
Oh my goodness. I don't want to live without it. I am very happy and pleased. My mom went on this Balance of Nature probably 15 years ago. She just bragged on this product all the time.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com and get this special offer by using discount code Chicago.
I'm Seth Leibson for townhall.com. Before he wrote his classic novel, 1984, George Orwell wrote an essay where he put it that political speech was increasingly becoming distorted so as to defend the indefensible and used to support that which, in its clear and obvious meaning, would never be supported. We see this everywhere now. Killing an unborn child today is reproductive rights. The effort to change a person's sex is labeled gender affirmation. Violence is mostly peaceful. Peaceful and patriotic marching is insurrection, and freedom of speech is purportedly protected by disinformation governance boards. Once you take away the ordinary meaning of things, once you distort clear language or a phrase for its opposite, Orwell warned, you can convince people of things that they would otherwise never support. That's why an unborn child became a fetus, after all. Orwell opened his famous novel instructing that war is peace and slavery is freedom. It's all around us now, which is why we have a saying here, MOFA, make Orwell fiction again.
I'm worried about Mom. She's having a tough time moving around the house.
Oh, I know. She still thinks she can do everything on her own.
Exactly, but I've been over there every day this week, helping her navigate the stairs, cooking meals, reminding her to take her medicine. I'm always nervous when I leave.
You know what? I admire you for taking care of Mom. But your family needs you too. And what if she slips and falls? A friend recommended the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. They service Cook, DuPage, Kane, and Will counties. They guarantee compatibility and they'll conduct a free safety assessment of her home. Plus, they'll provide as little or as much care as Mom needs.
Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, offering both hourly and live-in care. Schedule a free assessment today by calling 331-281-0728. That's 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I'm sorry to report that Lieutenant Dan down there in Tampa Bay.
Oh, what happened? Because he survived the storm. Remember?
Yeah, you were hoping he was, an eccentric Florida man story.
Uh-oh, does he have priors?
Yeah, he's been arrested about a dozen times, including for assaulting a woman, assaulting a cop. And
is there a warrant out for his arrest? What?
And he's got GoFundMe pages set up for this, so it's like the whole thing sort of seems like a grift. He was also sort of tethered to the pier, and it's not clear to me because the mayor of Tampa Bay, who is this ghastly woman named Jane Castor.
Remember, if you stay, you're going to die, lady? You know?
She bears a striking resemblance to that dude who's like number 2 at HHS. What's his name again? Rachel? Yeah. Anyway, Castor said that they were going to take him into custody, like protective custody, if he didn't get out of the bay. So it's not even clear that he was there and actually survived the hurricane in his little 20-foot sailboat. It's also not clear that he owns that 20-foot sailboat.
Oh, he might have sold. Well, in his defense, I will say, because I was obsessed with this hurricane, I was watching CNN Live, and they were doing a live shot, and he peeked his head out. And then that reporter said that Tampa Bay police tried to get him out, and he just refused to leave.
Yeah.
So they left. They said, "This is your last chance. Let's go." And he said no, so they left.
I don't know. Sort of the whole background here sort of dampens the fun Florida man story aspect of it for me, I guess.
Okay. All right.
So Lieutenant Dan's 15 minutes are up is what I'm trying to say.
Does he still have his GoFundMe, though? I wonder how much people donated to
I think he was up to like 30 grand at least on one of them.
Okay. Well, take the money and go. Maybe get a bigger boat. All right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 6:36 in our latest installment of Sports and Politics, they're doing it again.
Oh,
no. The professional sports leagues are issuing a timeout for racism. 6:36.
But now let's head into the newsroom first. Here is Mike Scott.
Florida Man's #1 song, Steve Miller, Take the Money and Run. There you go. 6:30 on AM 560. The Answer. The latest reported death toll from Hurricane Milton is at least 14. Floridian Dan Maddox says the 1-2 punch of Helene and Milton has taken a physical and now an emotional toll on local residents.
No one thought that we would experience something like this in such a tight turnaround. I can tell you, everybody's just kind of really feeling the effects of this.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the damage from Milton does not appear to be as bad as it could have been.
Our buildings that were built, in the last 20, 30 years, they did very well. They look good.
Thursday, more than 500 had to be rescued from a flooded apartment complex in Clearwater. One person is dead after a tour group at a Colorado mine got stuck in an elevator that malfunctioned. Teller County, Colorado Sheriff Jason Meixel says engineers from the state had checked the elevator to determine how to move forward.
Once they were able to identify that there were no other issues that could cause a problem with the equipment, they were able to lower it back down without anyone in it and then bring it back up to make sure that it was going to run correctly. And then we decided on a plan to go ahead and do that, bring them back up.
The incident happened near the town of Cripple Creek and left 23 trapped, 500 to 1,000 feet underground. The holiest day on the Jewish calendar begins tonight at sundown. Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement and caps the 10 days of repentance. Just as during last week's Rosh Hashanah holiday, many cities will have added security at synagogues and other locations. A person of interest is being questioned after an 8-year-old boy was shot on Chicago's southwest side in the 3800 block of West 87th. The boy was taken to a nearby hospital. Detectives now believe the shooting may have been accidental. Conflict setting the stage for what city council members say will be a long and grueling legal battle over ShotSpotter, led in part by Alderman David Moore.
When you have a young lady over in the 10th ward not only being shot and sitting there overnight when that was possibly her life could have been saved from it.
State regulatory judges are recommending a lower rate hike for Aqua Illinois, but a consumer advocacy group is calling for a larger rate cut. The proposed order from the Illinois Commerce Commission reduced Aqua's proposed $19.2 million rate hike to just under $11 million. Jim Chilson with the Citizens Utility Board says it needs to go down even more.
Aqua customers have suffered a lot from high bills and poor service. We don't think that the company deserves a rate hike of $19 million or $10.9 million.
Several area communities in Cook, Will, DuPage, Kane, and McHenry counties are served by Aqua Illinois' water and wastewater services. The ICC is set to make a final ruling on Aqua's request no later than November 21. And organizers of the Bank of America Chicago Marathon say runners from Florida impacted by Hurricane Milton can delay participation in that event until next year. About 1,500 Floridians from that state are registered for Sunday's race. The NFL continues its London series. Bears and Jacksonville meet Sunday. Sunday's kickoff is around 8:30 in the morning. Blackhawks in search of their first win when they visit Winnipeg tonight. Northwestern aims to avoid their third loss in a row when they take on Maryland tonight. Baseball, Yankees beat the Royals and move on to the ALCS. Cleveland forcing a Game 5 following an upset win over the Tigers in Detroit, 5-4. The news, a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save up to 90% off on average to get your smile back. Check if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows, and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio every Sunday morning at 9. Presented by Lang Home Medical Equipment, Executive Green Carpet Cleaning, and by Valdecast Windows and Doors. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about your home improvement. Right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Are your file cabinets stuffed with work orders, invoices, bills of lading, medical records, and or compliance papers? There's a solution to clear the clutter by converting your documents into accessible digital form with the help of IDT. They can scan your documents for you or provide you with the technology to transform your workspace with easy and innovative IoT smart connected scanning technology. IoT Smart Connected Scanning not only captures your information, it connects your documents directly to your existing digital systems, ensuring seamless integration and immediate access. Plus, it works with your existing Microsoft Office 365 technology. Convert those physical files into secure, searchable, easy-to-find digital formats. Goodbye, paper chaos. Hello, streamlined, secure digital environment. Visit ready4idt.com. That's ready, the number 4idt.com. IDT, putting paper in its place.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
77 years old. I have a tax office. I still do taxes every year. My clients are amazed. I feel so much younger. I love it. I love the product. I tell everybody about it. I feel better. I'm just doing really good.
Oh my goodness, I don't want to live without it. I am very happy and pleased. My mom went on this Balance of Nature probably 15 years ago. She just bragged on this product all the time.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
6:37, let's get an update on the road. We do that in our Team Hochberg Traffic Center, and it is a service of Norton 360. Boost your password security with Norton 360. Weak passwords can be targets. That's why Password Manager is included in Norton 360. Get comprehensive protection and up to 58% off at norton.com/secure. The Kennedy at 1 hour in from O'Hare to the Burns Circle interchange this morning. Outbounders, you're jammed up from Central all the way up to I-190 near Bessie Coleman. It's all due to an earlier accident. 45 minutes out to the big airport this morning. Stevenson inbound, 35 minutes, 3:55 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And the Tri-State on the brakes northbound right at Roosevelt Road. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Partly sunny and breezy. High 86 today. Mild overnight. Low 58. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Sports and politics and sports and politics and sports and politics and intersection. Arrogance and ignorance, arrogance, ignorance and arrogance and ignorance. Intersection.
Yeah, we got a couple of instances of sports and politics. One positive, one not so positive. Let's start with the not so positive. Bob Kraft, he's the owner of the Patriots. Fresh off of his pro happy ending campaign, he has a new one. It's called Timeout. #Timeout. I can see Robert Kraft holding a placard with the hashtag Timeout and a sad face, just like Michelle Obama used to do. Bob Kraft has pulled together the major sports leagues, teaming up with the commissioners from Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer. Well, that's not a sports league. NBA, Women's NBA, National Football League, National Hockey League, National Women's Soccer League, NASCAR, to help create ads featuring leaders and top athletes that will play across all major leagues through the rest of the year. Oh, that'll really add to the enjoyment of watching sports. The campaign is explained this way. In sports, we call a timeout when things are heading in the wrong direction. And right now, in our country, hate is winning, and we need to change the momentum. Bringing together the commissioners of North America's major sports leagues for this campaign is a historic and crucial step in our fight against all hate. By uniting under a common cause, we amplify our message and demonstrate that the power of sports extends beyond stadiums, arenas, and fields, and into our communities. This initiative is a call to action for everyone to join us in creating a world where hate is met with a unified stand for empathy, understanding, and respect. Are you inspired? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer and text line. Are you impressed? Stop. Time out. That's not stop hate. Stop Asian hate. Hate has no home here. Time out. Time out against. Time out. Well, it's just a timeout, I guess. To change the momentum of hate. Hate is winning. How do we stop hate? The NBA commissioner decided to come in from his home planet to ours, Adam Silver, saying, while this country, of course, has made tremendous progress in so many ways, when you line up the data, and whether it's anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim hate, anti-black, anti-LGBTQ, that the data, as Robert is saying, is scary. You know, when you see the direction that the country's been going in the last few years.
I mean, they're just doing this because we have an election in 24 days. Because I thought the BLM messages, stop hate on their helmets, was working, Dan.
I thought
and writing it in the end zone.
And racism.
And racism.
I guess and racism wasn't comprehensive enough. Racism is just one form of hate or ignorance, more accurately. So you have to go global, and this is where the Robert Kraft Foundation comes in.
Somebody texted in, timeout should mean let's get men out of women's sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, that's it. You know, I want
another person. We should hate our government, not each other.
Anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim, anti-black, I mean, has anybody noticed, I mean, just as an example of things that are not talked about, that groups targeted for their identity in terms of their belief system are not mentioned? Like, the 400 Catholic churches that have been vandalized in some material way over the last couple of years? Is that no, that's not part of it. This will be as effective as the what was that thing that Starbucks did with the baristas? Let's talk about racism or something. And racism.
Hashtag end racism, I thought. I had a lovely talk with my barista. I'll never forget it. Like, so do you want to talk about it? She said, well, what do you have? And I said, well, I have 2, minority children. Things are going well, and nothing's been happening to them. How's your life going? Conversation lasted about a minute.
Yeah.
And then I took my cup of coffee and I left.
I am a product, or I am an oppressed member of a systemically racist society as well. How are you doing? I also am an oppressed member of a systemically racist patriarchal society. Okay, great talk. Can I get my Frappuccino now?
I mean, these aren't trained social workers you're talking to. They're baristas. It was a joke. Mm-hmm. But that's what our country's slowly becoming. Just one big hashtag.
This is why I can't bring myself to come back to professional sports. I was watching dinner last night and just watching some of the Royals Yankees game. I know who some of them, Juan Soto, but I know some of the players are, Aaron Judge, but I'm not paying any attention. I don't know where these series stand. I mean, that's never, never in my life have I been so uninterested in professional sports. I barely pay attention to any of it now.
Because the stats and like ERAs, batting averages of a lot of players.
Well,
you grew up because you cared.
Back in the day, but they have beaten my fandom out of me.
Yep. Used to be a season ticket holder for those amazing Chicago White Sox.
Ron, Southside. Hey, Ron.
Ron.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yep, we can now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Amy, the timing is very strange, but this stuff is becoming totally sickening. It's disgusting. I'm going to give an example. The Chicago Teachers Union is being sued because they did not release an audit that they supposed to release to the members. And Stacey Davis Gates said, oh, this is a right-wing effort.
Yep.
This
is
just
it's racist. Everything's racist in this administration.
Everything is racist. It's just sickening. Okay, you all have a great weekend.
Thanks for the call,
because the only consequential person in this society is the black man. That's what our mayor said.
Marvin, Burlington, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm really feeling it from Robert Kraft, especially after hearing the bipartisan speech of Barack Obama trying to get all the brothers riled up to vote for Kamala. I'm really feeling my brotherly love. I got to tell you.
Yeah, right. Thanks for the call, Marvin. Mike, Yorkville.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. It's just like the hate. I would just love to see that they would end the media one-sidedness. Because if they're just lying to America all the time, they hate the American people.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Well, I mean, of course, this is all thinly veiled identitarian politics in service of the left and in service of the sentimentally barbaric culture that is America that's given rise to this new Bolshevikism. It is. This is like... The whole idea that this it's a phony fight.
Right, but a black woman is running for president, so they have to do anything they can to try and get her elected.
This is another example of this idea of frisson that Theodore Dalrymple properly attributed to beating COVID together. Oh, yeah. If we can do it together, stop the spread together, this and that. These sort of completely overhyped threats, but they're easy, they're accessible, So the way you feel good about yourself, the way you give yourself your life meaning, the way you gather a sense of accomplishment, even though it's an ersatz sense of accomplishment, is to overcome something that isn't substantial. So surviving COVID by wearing a mask. Look, I did my part.
Right. And masks didn't work because people weren't all wearing them. Ugh.
Right.
Never forget that.
0.1% of, I mean, anybody who died, all the usual caveats, but 0.1%. And you survive COVID, and that's a significant accomplishment in your life. You're ending hate by tweeting out a hashtag, but retweeting something that Shaquille O'Neal tweeted. I mean, what? It is so lowbrow. It is so insulting. It is phony. Yeah, there are people that are ignorant, and there are people that don't like Jews for being Jews, or people who don't like Muslims for being Muslims. Yeah, or people who don't like whites for being whites, or blacks for being blacks. Yeah, I get it. 350 million people. You're going to have some knuckleheads out there, right, Tim Walz? But I mean, seriously, this requires a national effort. If you put the same effort and money and celebrity behind making sure that every kid was proficient in reading and math coming out of high school, that's how you eliminate the ignorance that you see pop up here and there in this country.
Got a text message about Bob Kraft creating the timeout, hashtag timeout. Man, Dan and Amy Kraft must really be feeling bad about stooping to those girls.
Josh and Braidwood.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. How are you?
Good.
Good. Hey, listen, so I called in to tell you guys about this new drinking game that we came up with in my town, where every time they show Taylor Swift, you got to do a shot. And then other than that, we don't really give a rat's patooey about the woke football or
finally, rat's patooey has been called.
Thank
yes.
you.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Spreading the hashtag.
You're popularizing it. Yeah, well, if you did that, the Taylor Swift, you'd get hammered pretty quickly.
But you know
if
what?
You're watching a Chiefs game.
Since Mahomes' wife, what's her name, Brittany? I think her name's Brittany.
Yeah.
Since she publicly supported Trump via a tweet or something, have not seen those two girls together. They used to have they're girl pals, Dan. Relationship's over.
Greg in Downers Grove.
Hey, the hate they're trying to end is what they did to sports and then why we hate it.
Thanks for the call, Greg. Well, on the positive side, and this installment on the positive side. So October 10th was XX Day, the real Women's Day, as Riley Gaines and others have so decreed. Congressman Lisa McClain, she's a Republican from Michigan, introduced a resolution on the House floor to designate October 10th as Real Women's Day to recognize the fundamental biological differences between men and women and recognize the emotional pain, loss, experience, denied opportunities, and trauma inflicted upon biological women who've been forced to compete against biological men in sports. Yeah, okay. Well, that's good. And one organization had put out an ad, and it's very interesting. XXXY Athletics.
That's run by Jennifer Say,
Yeah.
who, by the way, is going to be at Freedom Summit.
XXXY Athletics, so Jennifer Say's organization, the former Levi executive. Dear Nike.
Dear Nike.
Dear Nike.
Dear Nike.
Why won't you stand up for me? Why won't you stand up for me? Why won't you?
Why do you claim to support women and girls?
Yet when we need you most, you remain silent.
Today, males are claiming our identity,
Our sports, our spaces,
Men and boys are stealing opportunities,
medals, trophies,
and our future.
and it's not fair or just.
In fact, it's often dangerous. Yet you refuse to use your platform to stand up.
You say you're for social justice and progress.
So why do you allow men's rights to come before ours?
See, with a big platform
comes an even bigger responsibility.
You have a chance to do the right thing, not just do the easy thing. So we're asking you, Nike.
So we're asking you, Nike,
So we're asking you, Nike.
as the biggest voice in all of sports.
Will you stand up for me? Will you stand up for me? Will you stand up for me?
Will you stand up for me? Will you?
Will you?
Will you just do it?
Will you just do it? I like that. Yeah, it's good. So we'll wait to hear what Phil Knight has to say about that. Time out from misogyny, Bob and company. Bob, the other Bob, not Kraft. Carol Stream.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Listen, I just wanted to mention that, they got all that stuff in the end zone on the back of their back of the collars. Love this, save that. I don't care. Just entertain, dance, catch your little balls, dance around. Yeah, I mean, I don't care what.
Yeah, it's dance.
Yeah, I mean, if you get crushed, you get crushed. Who cares? Just drag the next clown on the field.
Yeah.
It's entertainment, nothing more than that.
Yeah.
I can't be offended by it because I don't take it that seriously.
Right.
It's just a question of, what's the next show? What's the next guy that's going to pull an artificial bow and arrow out of his pocket because he made a tackle? Or,
Oh, my God.
Seriously.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big deal. You ever notice these guys running down to second base? They can't find second base because the gold chains are hitting them in the face.
Oh, my.
So, you know what? Dance, clown, dance. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, entertain me. Yeah, you go in and dance around and kick your ball. Yeah, I like it.
I do like the choreographed routines, yes.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you. You've watched the news. Rising crime has been affecting our everyday lives in Illinois more and more these days. Blue Star Security can protect you, your business, or your place of worship. Blue Star Security is the only security company in Chicago with over 900 off-duty police officers, all W-2 employees.
I'm Jeffrey Salvetti, Vice President of Blue Star Security and a 15-year law enforcement veteran. The Blue Star team is made up of over 900 state-certified active and retired law enforcement professionals. We serve businesses and private organizations with supply chain and special event security, and also protect our loved ones at places of worship and schools all across the Chicagoland area. Blue Star Security's technology allows mobilization of off-duty officers quickly and efficiently. Our primary mission is to provide unparalleled protective services for each assignment with integrity while maintaining our commitment to community service in the Chicagoland area.
Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. That's BlueStarSecurityLLC.com.
All right, this fall, don't forget your Balance of Nature supplements. A proud supporter of this station for 10 years. You know, that turkey pumpkin pie ice cream aren't going to cut it. Your body needs fruit and vegetables to stay healthy, happy, and energized. I was just talking to young Justin. And Justin, can you grab the microphone real quick and tell us about your Balance of Nature experience, how it's going?
It's going great. I stopped taking it for a while, but then I took it yesterday, and I feel amazing.
Look at how happy he is, Dan, huh? With a few capsules, a bottle, Balance of Nature, 6 capsules a day. You're getting 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables. Your heart, your body, your mind will thank you for it. So here's what you do. Order your fruits and veggie supplements today by calling 800-246-8751. Use coupon code Chicago to save 35% off your first set and free shipping when you sign up as a new preferred customer. 800-246-8751. Call now or order online at balanceofnature.com and use coupon code Chicago to save 35%.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Jason Zenger, owner of Zenger's Industrial Supply and host of the Making Chips podcast, and a proud customer of Signature Bank. Through rapid growth, acquisitions of competitors, and taking over from the previous generation, Signature Bank was there with us every step of the way. Recently, the team introduced us to FinRails AP, their proprietary system for accounts payable automation. Not only did FinRails AP help us to reduce costs and create efficiencies, but it also helped minimize fraud risk. Now, our company can invest time into what we do best, supplying industrial products, metalworking tooling, contractor tools, and safety supplies to those who make, build, and create great things for our country.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Our southern border is controlled by Mexican drug cartels involved in illegal drug distribution and human trafficking, including sex trafficking of children. Cities across the nation are dealing with the ramifications of this illegal activity and burden of over 10 million illegal border crossers moving in over the last 3 years. Join Breakthrough Ideas and Safe Suburbs USA PAC for a closer look at the issue at our Close the Border panel discussion. Panelists are Rodney Scott, retired chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, Sarah Carter, Fox News contributor, and Victor Avila, retired ICE agent and target of the Mexican cartels. They'll discuss the open border threat to our communities. The Close the Border event is Tuesday, October 22nd at the Abington Banquets in Glen Ellen. Doors open at 5:45. Discussion begins at 7 p.m. Tickets are just $40 and include an Oktoberfest buffet. Go to breakthrough-ideas.com to buy tickets now. Tickets will not be sold at the door. Get your tickets now at breakthrough-ideas.com.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel. Home to the biggest shows on TV, like Dennis Prager, weekdays at noon Eastern, followed by Jay and Jordan Sekulow at 2. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free, now on Zumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Zumo.
AM 560, The Answer.
By the way, just on the idea of women standing up for women playing women's sports, statewide walkout in New York State being organized, except for October 24th, being organized by the Coalition Protect Kids. Girls walking out of high schools in New York State to protest men in women's sports. That's something that could and should be done everywhere to draw attention to the issue.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 7:07, the latest border town, Logansport, Indiana, 7:07.
Today it's going to be unseasonably warm, a high of 87 degrees with plenty of sunshine, breezy. At 7 a.m., WIND Chicago.
They'll continue cleaning up the damage Milton did in Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The hurricanes blamed for at least 17 deaths. This man's lucky he's not among them. He rode out the storm in his mobile home.
Only thing I got left in my life. If it was going to go, I was going to go too. Matter of fact, during the storm, I thought about that. You know, that I made a bad decision.
Fox's Steve Harrigan is out surveying damage in Tampa.
You have pile after pile of debris in front of these houses. This was somebody's couch in front of me. And it's really a mix of debris from both storms, from 2 weeks ago from Helene, and now you have debris added to that.
Storm surge also caused flooding, and so did Milton's heavy rain, swelling rivers, leading to
heroic water rescues by first responders. Governor DeSantis saying as many as 1,000 rescues by first responders and National Guard.
There are still almost 2.5 million power outages. Israel and Hezbollah keep battling. An airstrike in Beirut, Lebanon, targeting militants has killed at least 22 people. And as Hezbollah launches rockets, it's also fired an anti-tank missile across the border today, killing a farmer from Thailand in northern Israel. And as war rages there and in Gaza, the Nobel Peace Prize was awarded this morning to survivors of the U.S. atomic bombings in Japan that ended World War II.
Nihon Hidankyo is known for its activism against nuclear weapons. Its members have lived through the 1945 nuclear attacks and have dedicated their lives to telling their stories of loss and injury.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Former President Trump will campaign in Colorado and Nevada the day after saying in Detroit he plans to boost the U.S. auto industry and keep cars made in China out.
I will impose whatever tariffs are required, 100%, 200%, 1,000%. They're not going to sell any cars into the United States.
Now, Vice President Harris touted her economic agenda in Arizona and then at a Univision rally in Nevada.
One of the issues I'm going to be taking on is price gouging.
Former President Obama campaigned for her at an anti-Trump rally in Pennsylvania. America's listening to Fox News.
7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 55 degrees and sunrise right now. Authorities in Chicago are investigating after a witness told police they found a box containing human remains on a sidewalk on the city's near west side. Chicago police say it was found in the 2600 block of West Taylor. A person of interest is being questioned after an 8-year-old boy was shot on the southwest side along West 87th Street when someone that he knew opened fire, striking him in the chest. Detectives now believe the shooting may be accidental Former President Donald Trump is headed for Colorado this morning after making a stop in Chicago last night. Trump arrived at the Trump International Hotel and Tower following a campaign stop in Detroit earlier in the day. Trump's arrival in Chicago comes just a few days after a hotel guest was charged with having guns at Trump Tower. Paws Chicago is caring for 20 new hurricane dogs rescued and relocated after Hurricane Helene. They came from an area in Tennessee that was ravaged by flooding. Paws Chicago tells us this morning they're seeking foster parents for the animals. 2 men are charged with stealing hundreds of vases from suburban cemeteries. Lake County Sheriff's Office says it did receive a report back in August of vases worth $500 to $800 stolen from a cemetery in unincorporated Libertyville. An investigation revealed hundreds of similar vases have been taken from cemeteries across Lake and McHenry counties. Authorities identify Marcos Mendez and Fermin Gallardo as suspects. After stealing the vases, the suspects sold them to scrapyards for far less than they were worth. Gallardo has been arrested while Mendez remains on the loose. Chicago sports. Blackhawks take on the Jets tonight. Also tonight in college football, Northwestern will battle Maryland in the Big Ten. Professionally last night, NFL kicked off the weekend with a 36-24 victory by Seattle, and it was a win, or it was a continued preparation as the Bears go for their third win in a row. The 3-2 Bears take on Jacksonville Sunday in London. The news service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Overpaying for dental implants is over if you have medical PPO insurance. Find out how you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back. Check if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Get your tickets for Freedom Summit Chicago, Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. This year, featuring Dr. Sebastian Gorka, economist Stephen Moore, along with Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, John Anthony, and many more. This event will sell out, so get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Best Dental Group of Bartlett, the Michael Alfaro Radio Show, Woodland Windows and Doors, and by Quick Delivery Service.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is, Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
You've all heard about PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition, and you know that it's a weight loss program that works. You don't lose weight easily or quickly, but you lose the weight naturally. The program is based 100% on nutrition. They teach you to eat the right food for your body. There are no drugs, no injections, no terrible side effects. In fact, all the side effects of this program have been good ones. Better energy, you'll sleep better, have more focus, and your clothes will fit better. More importantly, you'll just feel better. If you have weight to lose and are considering taking those weight loss shots on the market, please read the side effects first. Getting healthy should not make you sick, and it shouldn't make you dependent on a drug. PhD is freedom. PhD teaches you to rely on yourself and your knowledge and do what is right for your body. Call them today at 864-644-1900 or find them online at myphdweightloss.com. That's 864-644-1900.
7:07, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of Trim Light Chicago. Don't let hanging holiday lights get you in a Scrooge mood. 'Tis the season to save time, money, and energy with permanent, programmable holiday lighting for your home. Get your free quote today at trimlight-chicago.com. We start on the inbound Eisenhower, Elmhurst. Between York Road and St. Charles, you have an accident with the right lane blocked. Stevenson inbound, 30 minutes from the Tri-State into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Pretty mild on DuSable Lakeshore Drive, even in the construction zone as you travel southbound from the north end. Also, we're seeing delays northbound between Soldier Field and Monroe. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast with Steve Williams.
Partly sunny, breezy, very warm day today. The high reaching 86. Partly cloudy, mild tonight, low 58. Partly sunny, shower in spots. Cooler day tomorrow, the high 67. Clouds and sun, breezy, cool day on Sunday, the high 63. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
56 at O'Hare, 54 Midway. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. KJP, Karina Jean-Pierre, the White House spokeswoman. She's having a banner week, another one.
Watch what she's wearing, too.
She's asked, that's
well,
she
looked like Al
very
Capone.
catty.
Like she dove into his closet and got some gangster suit from the 30s. Did you see that? She must look like the Joker. She had a pinstripe gray suit with shoulder pads in it and then a purple blouse underneath.
Very fetching. At least that's what her wife tells me. Anyway,
Suzanne Melvo, I know her wife.
The question was about the Afghan national who was allowed into this country and
planning that election day bomb.
Yes, planning an election day attack, ostensibly in connection with ISIS. That's what we understand from the indictment. Also, apparently a CIA contractor. Inspires a lot of confidence about vetting not just people who come into this country, but people who work for the federal government and perhaps in sensitive positions. It's unclear. KJP was asked about that because some people might find that troubling. Not her, but some people.
What they need on the ground.
Thanks, Doreen. Following up on Jackie's question from earlier on the Afghan terror suspect, NBC is reporting that he was a security guard for the CIA before he came to the U.S. and that he passed 2 rounds of vetting. Does the administration believe there was adequate vetting?
So what I can say is I can't comment on this directly because it is an active investigation, as you know, that the Department of Justice is currently moving forward with, so I'm going to be really careful. What I can say is every Afghan national who entered the U.S. was screened and vetted by intelligence, law enforcement, counterterrorism professionals, and with every new information that emerges, if that individual could pose a threat to public safety, we take immediate action, and we take that action. And so not going to speak to this particular case, but I can speak more broadly, and that's the actions that we normally take. That's how we move forward. And the president has always been clear, protecting the American people will always be his top priority.
Exactly. That's how they do it. And that's how we do it. It's
Close the binder. I'm leaving. Have a good weekend.
It's all vetted.
It's all.
That's how we do it. So it's all vetted. We put the safety of Americans first. And if, for example, a CIA contractor turns out to be a terrorist plotter, that's how we do it. I can't comment on that specifically. I can just tell you that we're doing the work. Okay. It's interesting, both the that development, that case, as well as the response, because we have another border town in Middle America to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Logansport, Indiana, which is about 2.5 hours southeast of Chicago. They have seen about a 1,500% increase in Haitian migrants in the schools over the last 3 years. And it's becoming a bit of a problem. Imagine. Fox affiliate reporting.
Logansport, Indiana, a rural city 78 miles north of Indianapolis, known for its diverse urban population of 18,000. People from at least 28 countries now call Logansport home, with at least 27 languages spoken.
Each week.
Each week. Okay, you did not say that.
Yeah, each week. So last week they had, my final count that I knew of, they had 16 newcomers.
That week.
That week. But a lot of them are coming unaccompanied.
A startling report from the Cass County Health Department administrator during a September county commissioner meeting. Serenity Alter sits in meetings with new children enrolled in Logansport schools. She listens to them describe their journey to the city.
Most of them fly from Haiti to Nicaragua to Mexico and then to whatever state they're flying to. A lot of them, like we met a couple last week that hadn't seen their parents in about 7 years. It's a eye-opener.
The overall growth of school enrollment jumped by nearly 150 kids in 3 years. This year, there are 207 Haitian students in Logansport schools, up from 14 in 2021. They also have new students from 11 other countries, including Guatemala, Cuba, Honduras, and El Salvador. No one from the health department wanted to do an on-camera interview with us, but they told me the language barrier is a big challenge.
I don't think our school system can contain that many and can sustain what they're doing right now.
Mm-hmm. So again, why is this happening in these smaller communities in the Midwest generally? Not limited, but generally. We know that there's Alabama community too, Faith Hope, Alabama, was it? That's under potential threat of the same thing happening there. Mike Needham from the American Compass was part of a panel discussion at the University of Chicago's Institute of Politics. That's the Axelrod Institute of Political Skullduggery that's housed at the University of Chicago. Anyway, it was in part a forum on these sorts of developments, including in Charleroi, Pennsylvania, as we've talked about quite a bit. Listen to what Needham has to say. We've touched on this, but he really focuses upon it as as a significant part of the explanation of what you see happening in Charleroi, Pennsylvania, and Springfield, Ohio, and Whitewater, Wisconsin, and Loganstown, Indiana.
We were in Charleroi, Pennsylvania 2 weeks ago, which is a small town of 4,000 people. They have had 2,500 Haitian migrants dropped on that town in the last 2 years. How did they get there and why are they there? There is a company in Charleroi, Pennsylvania, it's a food packaging company, that could invest in productivity. When you look at the videos of what's going on in this factory, these are people sitting in a refrigerated room moving dishes from one conveyor belt onto another. The type of thing that could be mechanized, that could have robots, that would create high-paying jobs for American workers, making the robots, servicing the robots, monitoring the robots inside the factory. The factory owner doesn't want to do that. Instead, he goes to a service agency, staffing agency, which owns the 50 houses in town, stuffed 15 people into these two-bedroom households who came from NGOs that worked with the Biden-Harris administration coming in. And so when you look at the way our asylum laws in this country are being abused to allow companies to rely on low-wage migrants instead of investing in American workers, when you look at the way H-2A, H-2B visas are, we have a mass problem in this country. So what's going on in Charleroi is that the company is paying $16 an hour to a staffing agency that then pays the legal immigrants $12 an hour to do this. That's what's going on.
But somebody's going to take that job, right? Is my point. Somebody's going to have to work that job.
The lack of investment in productivity, the reason that we're not adopting robotics, the reason that we aren't doing the types of things that businesses have to do to create high-wage jobs in America for people who are here legally to do, is a result of bringing in low-wage labor. Whether that low-wage labor comes in illegally or legally doesn't change the equation of whether or not businesses face an incentive to invest in high-wage work.
One more piece before we get to our friend Scott McKay. Because Kamala had a little candidate forum at Univision.
Nice pronunciation.
And she was asked about migrants, generally speaking, and she's not quite as iconoclastic on open borders as she used to be, but the underlying position that she's communicating hasn't changed.
So my pledge to you is that by the grace of God and hopefully with your support as well, when I am elected president, I will bring back that border security bill and I will sign it into law and do the work of focusing on what we must do to have an orderly and humane pathway to earn citizenship. And one of the biggest problems with failure to have a comprehensive plan for immigration is that we have not given them the pathway to earn their right to citizenship. And that is, again, that is one of the priorities for me, frankly, in terms of my motivation for what I know we must do. Oh my God. And I think it's, I think it should compel us to agree they should not have to live in fear, but should have an ability to be on a pathway to earn their citizenship. So it is one of my priorities.
Yeah, you've said it 4 times. We're convinced. So here's the thing. It's a real stark choice. Mass deportation or mass normalization. Mass deportation or mass normalization. And if you had any doubt that this bipartisan immigration, blah, blah, blah legislation they prattle on about ceaselessly, if you had any doubt that it's a fraud, the one hand, she says, that's the first thing I'm going to do is resuscitate it and get it passed in Congress and sign it. And the next thing I'm going to do is mass normalization of people in this country legally, pathway to citizenship. So obviously, the legislation has nothing to do with preventing her mass normalization vision from coming to fruition, not in her mind. I mean, the two things, if you were interested in border security, the two things would be mutually exclusive. They're not. It tells you how ineffectual that legislation was.
You know what I heard? Do the work to focus on the work we must do.
Yeah, well, that's powerful, powerful words. I have that inscribed on my pet rock, actually, ironically enough. Scott McKay is the publisher of The Hayride, senior editor at The American Spectator, author of Racism, Revenge, and Ruin, as well as King of the Jungle. Scott, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. Let me start real quick. You're saying mass normalization, and you are correct in that. But when you hear Kamala Harris talking about path to citizenship, what you should be thinking is path to registration as a Democrat voter.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
but
I
they
agree.
kept telling
That
us,
is what
Scott,
this is all about.
I know, but they kept telling us if they're not here legally, they can't vote. They've been banging that drum for the past 9 months, and it was all a lie because that's exactly what they're doing, signing up people to vote. People, if you go to get a driver's license, you automatically are registered to vote.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is, it's harder to do the sort of surreptitious getting illegals to vote, particularly in states that they don't control. But once you make these people citizens, even in red states that you're trying to turn purple or blue, there's no way to stop it. And so everything that she is about, and of course, when you talk about Kamala Harris, you have to kind of talk about the corporate Kamala Harris, because all she is sort of a front person for this collection of handlers, which is not very different than the collection of handlers that have been running Joe Biden for the last, 4 years. The goal is give all these people citizenship now that they're in the country and turn this into a one-party state like California, which is exactly what Elon Musk said in that interview he did with Tucker Carlson earlier this week. And he's just echoing something that pretty much everybody has been saying on the right. And, of course, that's been demonized as a conspiracy theory. But you can't do that anymore. It's obvious that this is what's going on. It's cheap labor for companies that are willing to play ball with the Democrats, and it's widespread, alteration of the demographics and the electorate in this country. That's all it is.
So I want to go back to Logansport, Indiana, and other communities that everybody has been talking about for the last several weeks as these stories have bubbled up to the surface. And this idea, essentially, that was communicated by Mike Needham from American Compass, that what you have in a lot of these smaller towns, you have basically like a Brad Wesley from Roadhouse, played brilliantly by Ben Gazzara, you'll remember. You've got a guy or a couple of guys who own the town. They're the big shots in town. And they want cheap labor. And whether it's to replace more expensive American labor or it's to prevent having to make deep investments in productivity that Mike Needham was talking about, they're the sponsors of they're the ones sponsoring and effectively, like the administration has done, inviting mass migration to these small towns, overwhelming these towns. And so you have, we talk sort of globally about Chamber of Commerce and corporate America, but in these small towns, you have this interesting dynamic at play in places like Charleroi, it would appear.
Yeah, no, I love the Brad Wesley reference. That's perfect. I actually saw that over the weekend, last weekend. I was flipping channels and the old Roadhouse came on. And you're right. I mean, in lots and lots, particularly not very successful small towns, there's a family, right, who has been exploiting the folks for, they own the mill, or maybe they don't own the mill. Maybe the guy's a trial lawyer and he's got billboards all over the place, but there's always somebody who's like the power behind the throne in that town and has been sort of abusing the citizenry. And it's one reason why, companies that would move into the next town rather than that one. And in a place like a Charleroi or, some of these other operations, you're going to get that. And, they talk about Trump as a threat to democracy, but this is the threat to democracy. Because essentially what you're doing is you're bringing in serfs. And the Democrats want to make these people, voters, and they're going to be under the thumb of somebody.
Yeah.
And so, that, in other words, that town will never be able to develop and join it, because all of the people that would do the things that would make that town better are going to sell their stuff and get the hell out.
Right, which is
exactly. So you're going to have these horrible places all over the country that they've destroyed.
They're going to get erased. That's right. By the way, just on that sort of genre of film, I would also recommend for you, for your viewing enjoyment, more recently, Red Right Hand with Andie MacDowell and Orlando Bloom.
Red Right Hand?
Yeah. Andie MacDowell plays the heavy. She plays the Brad Wesley character effectively. This is it's not a remake of Roadhouse, but it's of that sort. Just as a quick aside. Yeah, Red Right Hand. Yeah, check it out. So this was interesting. I was having this conversation yesterday with a buddy of mine, and the idea that, a lot of these, and conservative, and for border security, Trump supported the whole thing. But it's like, this could turn out to backfire on Democrats, boomerang on them, because so many of the people they've let in have come here for a better life. They want to work. And so as you get, second and third generation here, not that he's promoting mass normalization or anything, but just saying the boomerang possibility. As they become assimilated and they have kids and so forth, and they pursue working for a better life, they're going to become Republicans. And so we have this potential to upend the Democrat strategy. What do you say to that?
Well, I think there's probably an element to that. I'm not going to sit here and demonize all of the people that have made it here. If I lived in Bolivia or Nicaragua or Cuba, I'd want to come to America too. But here's what I will say. I don't think you can apply the give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses narrative to somebody who was happy to strap on a backpack full of fentanyl and cross the border.
Right.
To come, let's not make these people out to be the heroes of this situation. There's that. But what I will say is, people who are willing to come here to work, I think, yeah, there's a possibility that, we're kind of missing the mark. I mean, Venezuelans are, well, the ones that hadn't been emptied out of the jails, but Venezuelans who are coming here, generally speaking, are here to avoid socialism. So there may be some potential there. But, and this is the thing, is they ask, well, how do you assimilate this many people when they come into the country? And the answer is they're already assimilating them. I'll tell you what they're assimilating them into. And not in the case of like the Charleroi story where they're bringing these people in to go work at a food processing plant. But the ones that are just coming across the border, all right, and they get the EBT card right away.
Yeah.
Like the assimilation that's being done is welfare culture in America.
Yeah.
Not, the old Horatio Alger story of, immigrant made good. It's, we're going to give you government housing. We're going to give you food stamps. We're going to give you Medicaid. We're going to give you all these different, Democrat government programs. And before you even learn English, you're going to learn the welfare mentality in this country.
Well,
and
just to put a fine point on.
The problem with that,
just to put a fine.
Dan, the problem with that is, is we already know that the welfare culture is intergenerational.
Yeah.
We've seen it with Americans who've been put on the dole.
Yep.
And, the kids and the grandkids, all of the behavioral pathologies and everything, that stuff transcends generations, and it gets harder and harder as time goes by for people to get off of that mentality. So, this is purposeful. This is being done for a reason. And I actually feel a little bit better about the people in, a Charleroi because they're serfs. They're not being brought in on an arm's length transaction to do work, but at least they're here to work. Whereas you get all these people that are coming here just to get on the dole, that's the core of what the Democrats are trying to do with, this mass invasion of migrants.
Yeah, well,
So,
to your point, just to give you an example of what you're talking about, Massachusetts over the last 14 months has added almost 700,000 food stamp recipients to its welfare rolls. That's equal to 10% of the Massachusetts population. And you're right. What do we know? We know that being a ward of the state transcends race and everything else. That the welfare state destroys families indiscriminately, regardless of race. And so the 700,000, 10% of the Massachusetts population put on the welfare rolls in the last 14 months. It's Cloward Piven global. Right? It's just globalizing the Cloward Piven strategy.
No, that's exactly what it is. And this stuff has been around in the fever swamps of the socialist left for decades. And they finally basically, decided they had the stones to go and do it. And so this is what's happening. And look, most people get this. There's a reason why when they start polling mass deportation, it's polling 55, 60% of the respondents. It's because people understand that the system can't withstand this, that the culture can't withstand this many people who, are not assimilated into America. And they understand that, the negative effects locally in all of these places where you do dump all these people, are going to be bad. Chicago is a perfect example. You mentioned Fairhope, Alabama. Fairhope is a beach community on the Gulf.
Yeah.
It's a fairly higher end place, really nice place to go visit. The fact that they're dumping all these people in Fairhope is really amazing. You would think somebody would have enough stroke to call up and say, no, we don't want that here. But they're doing it in Fairhope anyway. It's almost kind of like it's a red state Martha's Vineyard type of deal, right? And, it's Joe Biden instead of Ron DeSantis inflicting that on them.
Scott McKay, publisher of The Hayride, senior editor at The American Spectator, and author of Racism, Revenge, and Ruin, as well as King of the Jungle. Scott, thanks as always.
Hey, thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Jason Sneed at 7:37. He's the executive director of the Honest Elections Project. Talk about an aspirational group name. 7:37.
And she's coming out. The First Lady of Chicago will explain. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Skies are mostly clear as we start the morning. 56 degrees At 7:32 on AM 560, The Answer, and we're following developments in Texas this morning, where there is apparently a very large and deadly chemical leak at a refinery. Fox's Lillian Wu has put together details for us.
At least 2 refinery workers are dead and at a Pemex refinery in Deer Park, Texas, after a hydrogen sulfide leak which triggered a shelter-in-place order for nearby residents for several hours Thursday evening and shut down part of Texas 225. The order lifted after air monitoring reports found no hazardous pollutants in the community. The highly toxic gas also preventing investigators from immediately entering the unit.
We want to make sure that our first responders are safe.
Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez. Hydrogen sulfide is a poisonous gas that smells like rotten eggs. It can be found in crude oil and is a byproduct of refining processes. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Millions are still without power in Florida in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton. In the Tampa area alone, around 500,000 customers are without the juice. Milton made landfall south of Tampa Wednesday as a Category 3 storm. The IRS this morning vows to expedite about $10 billion in delayed pandemic aid to businesses hit hard by the recent hurricanes. The agency saying that about 400,000 claims are now being processed for eligible business owners under the Employee Retention Credit. Former President Barack Obama is stumping for Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania. He'll continue to do that today after speaking in Pittsburgh yesterday. A major bank is being hit with $3 billion in penalties for alleged money laundering. Federal authorities allege TD Bank of New Jersey enabled international drug traffickers to launder more than $670 million through the institution. Authorities here in Chicago are investigating after a witness told police they found a box containing human remains on the sidewalk on the city's Near West Side. A person of interest is being questioned after an 8-year-old boy was shot on Chicago's Southwest Side in the 3800 block of West 87th. The boy was rushed to a nearby hospital in fair condition. And a Chicago man has been arrested on charges that he attacked 2 police officers during violent protests in Washington, D.C. against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. 24-year-old Zachary Allen Cam was arrested on assault charges after grabbing and dragging officers for several feet near John Marshall Park during the illegal action. U.S. attorneys say thousands of dollars in damage was also done by the attackers. Cam was expected to make an initial court appearance Thursday and is at least the third person charged with crimes related to the Columbus Circle demonstration. Chicago sports, 3-2 Bears continue preparations and going for their 3rd win in a row when they take on Jacksonville in London on Sunday. College football, Northwestern will try to avoid their 3rd loss in a row when they visit Maryland tonight. The news service of Del Bacchio Marchetti Group of Properties, Christie's International Real Estate, experts in the northwest suburbs and Chicago with over $800 million in sales. Call 708-828-0000. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says the numbers don't lie.
Look, Trump is gaining everywhere. They don't want to tell you that in the mainstream media. Just look, the data doesn't lie. Statistic after statistic tells you, look at the Daily Beast today. Oh no, this is a problem. Trump is making historic gains with Hispanics. We know that Trump has historic gains with black voters.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Paul Jenkins, owner of Bancroft Architects and Engineers, a service-disabled veteran-owned small business providing design solutions for clients, including the VA. When looking for a trusted banking partner, Bancroft was lucky to find that partner in Signature Bank in 2015. With Signature, personal service goes beyond a login and a PIN number. My staff and I have the comfort of knowing that we're dealing with real people who know our business and care about us as individuals. Signature helped finance our new state-of-the-art facility, and Bancroft looks forward to further expanding business opportunities for disabled veterans and historically disadvantaged communities.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I tell you, I get no respect. So I walk into a coin shop with silver bullion for sale when the owner says, "You look like you don't have two coins to rub together." I say to him, "Bullion." He orders me to quit cussing, tosses me out the door, and I land cheeks down on my 10-pound bullion bars. Ouch! My rear end is still black and blue.
You should have come to Fox Valley Coins, where we treat every customer with respect, buying or selling. Whether you're liquidating a collection to pay the rent or trading unwanted collectible coins, currency, and bullion for extra folding money, Fox Valley Coins is happy to see you. We also pay top dollar for scrap gold and sterling at Fox Valley Coins, the Midwest's premier coin company. Open 6 days a week, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Check us out at foxvalleycoins.com. Over 40 years of family-owned integrity. That's foxvalleycoins.com.
I'd get my butt down there, but the doctor warned me to take it easy for a week. Oh.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I saw a Balance of Nature commercial. I said, I'm going to try this stuff out. So I got it. I'm going to take those capsules. And I'm going like, oh my goodness. I really truly believe that this stuff is really pretty remarkable.
I love this product. I really do. I think it's fantastic. I tell everybody that I think it's fantastic. So like I said, everything that they say on the TV about it is absolutely true.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
7:39. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center Time, a service of almostfreeteeth.com. Find out how you could save 90% off on average to get your smile back if you have medical PPO insurance. Check if you qualify, almostfreeteeth.com. Eden's inbound, bad accident, right lane block, and a pull down to inbound right at Willow Road. Kennedy, 1 hour. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Due to an earlier accident, the outbound Kennedy is jammed solid. Canfield through I-190. Stevenson, an accident on the outbound side, left shoulder now, outbound between Central and Harlem. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Partly sunny and breezy. High 86, mild overnight, low 58. The start of noticeably cool weather for the next 5 to 7 days. High 67 tomorrow, 63 on Sunday, 54 on Monday. It's 55 right now. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. This was an interesting decision by the Georgia State Board of Elections in a 3-2 vote, requesting certain information from Fulton County, Georgia. You'll remember Fulton County, Georgia. It's,
the Lovers, how are they doing?
Well, not just because of Fanny and her...
Fawny.
Fawny, excuse me.
Please.
Yeah, right. Why are you mispronouncing her name? It's racist.
Yeah, why are you being rude, Dan?
Right, Fawny. Sorry.
It's not her butt talks.
Right.
Her name.
Right. Which Fawny? What you talking about? Willis. I remember her, but I was talking about 2020 and Fulton County's performance when it came to election administration.
to the clerk of the court for multiple documents from the November 2020 election, including consolidated return sheets, opening and closing scanner tapes, daily recap of advanced in-person polling place scanners, poll pad recap sheets, absentee ballot recap sheets, electronic files, including ballot images, log files, and tabulation files, a numbered voter list, absentee numbered list of voters, absentee ballot oath envelopes, security verification forms, and chain of custody forms of the poll manager and technician. In addition, I request that we subpoena Fulton County to appear at the next meeting.
We have motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Vote your
Hearing no
shares.
discussion, we'll vote via voice vote in order of seniority.
All right.
Yeah, you don't need the pro
Number
forma.
5.
But anyway, suffice to say that moved. So it sounds, boy, it's interesting. It sounds like a lot of the information that Trump and his attorneys desired back in 2020 from places like Fulton County, Georgia. And if nothing else, I'm not interested in relitigating 2020. You're not going to change the outcome. But if nothing else, it puts Fulton County on notice in advance of this November 5th's election, which is the good news. For more on this topic and related issues with the administration of elections, particularly in the battleground states, please be joined by Jason Sneed. He's the executive director of the Honest Elections Project. Jason, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
So, so just using that Georgia State Board of Elections decision with respect to Fulton County as the basis for a larger assessment of Georgia, is Georgia going to be one of the states that is surrounded in controversy again? What's your handle, generally speaking, on where we are with free and fair elections in those battleground states?
Well, I think that there are a number of states that have made significant improvements to their election laws over the last few years, and Georgia is one of those. If you remember, a couple of years ago, they passed a law that the left immediately slammed as Jim Crow 2.0, alleging that it was going to wreck elections, that it was going to suppress the vote, prevent minorities from voting, and so forth. And then they completely dispelled that rumor in 2022 in the midterms, when there was historic turnout, and polling afterwards showed that, in fact, literally zero respondents in a poll found it hard to vote in Georgia, literally zero. So Georgia is one of the states that has improved its election laws. Arizona also has improved its election laws. And Ohio, not a presidential battleground, but a Senate battleground, has made some significant improvements to their election laws. And look, even in Wisconsin, where you've got a Republican legislature at odds with the Democratic governor, have made some improvements at the ballot. Earlier this year, the voters there banned Zuck Bucks, banned private election financing, which was a big scheme in 2020 that was used to drive turnout in urban areas. They went to the ballot box and they voted to ban that this time around. So there have been improvements, but that being said, there's a long way to go, and there are a number of battleground states that went in the opposite direction, Nevada being one of the most obvious examples of that. So there's a lot of potential here for things to go sideways, and I'm going to be really interested to see what happens in places like Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada this cycle.
Well, Pennsylvania already forecasted that they're not going to have election results the night of the election.
That's right. And that's not a surprise. Pennsylvania's elections are far from well run. Previous attempts over the last few years to make some comprehensive updates from the Republican legislature were rebuffed by the governor up there. So they are actually working on an election code that is decades old at this point, very antiquated system. And there are particular parts of that state, particularly Philadelphia, that are simply not well run at all. And any attempt to bring transparency to that process so that you can even see where the problems are, that you wind up getting told, well, you're not allowed to actually observe the process in Philadelphia. And that may be because they want to hide something untoward, or that may simply be because they don't want the rest of the country to see exactly how bad things are run in Philadelphia. But Pennsylvania will be slow, and Maricopa County, Arizona, which is most of that state's population, has a lot of problems counting ballots and historically has taken weeks to count votes in big turnout elections. So there's a good possibility that we won't know the results of the Arizona election either. And Nevada allows ballots to come in after Election Day. So if it is close, like what we saw with the Senate contest in 22, we have to wait for those final votes to come in before we can decide the outcome of the election.
Yeah, Nevada is the only battleground state that does accept ballots after Election Day. So, I mean, you know, I hear what you're saying about Pennsylvania and Maricopa County, but there's no reason that we shouldn't know the results on election night or the early morning of the following day. But I guess that's going to be just those couple, 3 jurisdictions potentially. By the way, just as a quick aside, the state with the latest deadline for accepting ballots after Election Day, guess what state that is, Amy?
Illinois.
Illinois tied
7
with
days, right? Or 14
14.
days.
Illinois
14.
tied with Utah. 14.
Utah.
Why even 14 days? Well, just make it whenever they get around to it. I mean, there's no competition anyway here. There's no real races. I just as a quick aside of how much of a banana republic this goofy state is. Anyway, give it your larger assessment again, Jason, about election integrity and what the Republican Party has done. So you've talked about some of the improvements in the battleground states. What about the improvement of the Republican Party in learning the lessons of the last cycle or two and being much more aggressive, it seems to me, in litigating some of these issues at the state and local level with respect to election administration?
Well, I can say that piece of it is night and day. I mean, if you rewind the clock to the beginning of 2020, before the pandemic broke out and before all the left-wing lawsuits got started, the left had built a massive election industrial complex, I call it, to finance a barrage of litigation in order to swing the outcome of the 2020 election. And then the COVID pandemic happened, and they got to do everything that they were expecting to do in the back half of the year in the front half. And so by the time the first ballots were cast in November of 2020, you had the left filing more than 200 lawsuits to change voting laws, and the conservative side of the ledger was caught a little bit flat-footed, and they had to basically spin up a massive litigation operation to counter what the left was trying to do, using our courts to change the rules of the game in the middle of voting. And over the last few years, we have seen organizations like myself and others get engaged in this process to defend free and fair election rules. And you've seen the RNC massively increase its election integrity operation, including defending state laws in our courts and making sure that blue states are following proper procedures. Because sometimes what we see is that you can have very good laws on the books, but if they aren't being enforced, or if they are being simply whittled away by consent agreements in courts between Democratic Party officials and Democratic elected officials, then it's not worth the paper it's written on. So we've also seen the RNC intervene to make sure that state laws are being honored and being followed. And all of that is essential to defending free and fair elections. Now, I will say that the media attacks Republicans for engaging in litigation. They never attack Democrats, even though Republican litigation tends to be about defending voting laws and making sure that the laws, the people we elect to make laws, are being honored. And the Democrats are going on offense in the courts trying to change those rules in the middle of the voting process.
So the effect of what you're describing, combined with the fact that we're not seeing 50 or 60 million absentee ballots just preemptively leafleted around the country from the air, would lead one to believe that this election should be a lot tighter and there should be a lot fewer opportunities for, skullduggery and illegality.
Well, again, if you look at the laws that are on the books in a lot of these states, I would absolutely agree with you. But we have to remember that right now, I think the left has taken an anything-goes approach to winning this next election. And so they've already started to repeat their litigation strategy from 2020. There are almost 200 lawsuits active in the courts right now to change voting laws. So we always have to stay on offense, stay engaged, and the most important thing people can do is vote.
What state is doing it right? That they've cleaned the voter rolls, they're ready to go for, November 5th.
Well, there are a few different battlegrounds that have done a really good job with this. Georgia is doing a very good job. Ohio recently announced that they had detected and removed non-citizens from the rolls, including some who had apparently voted in recent elections, so they referred them for investigation. Texas is also doing the same, in Virginia. So there are states that aren't classic battlegrounds that are nevertheless, I think, showing a model of what this sort of lift maintenance action ought to look like. But then, of course, you have to remember that, again, liberal groups will sue to try to stop that. And in a lot of very important states, Nevada and Arizona, North Carolina as well, those processes are controlled by the left, and they are less than eager to remove people from the voter rolls, even though there's clear evidence that they may not be citizens, that they have moved away, that they have died, and so forth. They consider it to be a voter purge, and they will resist as much as possible doing very basic list maintenance. But we have to remember that is crucial to a functioning election system.
Have you been monitoring the response from a franchise perspective, an electoral perspective, in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, with respect to Hurricane Helene? We talked about on our program yesterday, North Carolina has been moving pretty quickly, bipartisan resolution to empower counties to change polling place locations to make sure that people affected by the hurricane have easy access to a polling place to cast their votes when early voting starts, and then obviously through to Election Day. What's your sense of how the response has been, particularly in North Carolina?
Well, I think that the devastation out there is unreal, and I think everything needs to be done that can be done to make sure that the election runs as smoothly as possible for the people in those affected areas. We started to see some movement in North Carolina, which was, of course, particularly hard hit. But I think that we need to be doing more, and I hope to see more in the coming weeks. This is going to be something where it's an all hands on deck until the very end of the process type response. And we're going to need to see everything from local TV stations getting involved to make sure they're broadcasting new polling locations and new polling sites to rules changes and so forth. So there's a lot of work left to be done, and I certainly hope that the board will continue to engage in that to make sure that those people can cast a ballot this November.
Jason Sneed, Executive Director of the Honest Elections Project. Jason, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
No, thank you. And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you confused by all the wild campaign promises and crazy political talk? You're not alone. Scott Tucker and the Scott Tucker Solutions team keep an eye on proposals made by politicians in Washington and in Springfield. Proposals that could impact your retirement plan. As laws change and programs are updated, it's important to have a retirement plan that can help protect your future. Your money needs to last past election cycles and weather any presidential or gubernatorial administration. Scott and his team can help you figure out the potential political impacts on your retirement plan. Get Scott Tucker's election stress test right now. Scott Tucker and the team at Scott Tucker Solutions will help you create a plan to navigate changes in our economy and in our federal and state governments, no matter who's in the Oval Office or in Springfield. To get your election year stress test, call 847-474-3888 or go to 560retirement.com. That's 847-474-3888 or go to 560retirement.com. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor.
Dan Proft here for Northridge Prep. Northridge Prep is a great place to be a boy. What does that mean exactly? In short, thanks to a foundation of an all-boys environment, it builds your son up into a man of intellect and character who loves God. Teachers and faculty members become mentors to students. And when you combine that with an atmosphere that is fun, competitive, and challenging, it creates an exceptional experience for your son. The result is the boys just love Northridge Prep. They've been educating boys for nearly 50 years, and one of the things that stands out is their commitment to partnering with parents. You hear that a lot with schools, but at Northridge, the parents can't stop talking about it because it's authentic, and they've built a community that really works together. Raising kids is difficult these days, obviously, and at Northridge, you can be confident your son is on the right path. They're having an open house on Sunday, October 20th for boys in grades 6 through 12. You can register today on behalf of your son if you're interested at northridgeprep.org. Again, that open house for Northridge Prep, grades 6 through 12, it's Sunday, October 20th, and you register at northridgeprep.org.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Tired of living with missing teeth or enduring the hassle of traditional dental implants? Say hello to UltraTooth from Sargon Dental. This groundbreaking dental implant lets you replace one or all your teeth in a single day. UltraTooth is the only FDA-cleared dental implant capable of providing immediate and full functional tooth replacement. If you have severe gum disease, UltraTooth can replace those affected teeth in a single appointment, eliminating the condition immediately. No more waiting weeks or dealing with temporary dentures. Unlike other implants that require months of caution, UltraTooth from Sargon Dental allows you to resume your normal activities immediately. You can chew and eat confidently on the same day as your procedure. Don't miss another day of smiling and eating normally. Experience the life-changing difference with UltraTooth from Sargon Dental and reclaim your smile today. Visit sargondental.com today to find an office near you. Dental providers looking to join the Sargon Dental Network and offer UltraTooth can reach out at sargondental.com.
Hi, I'm Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. Financial advisors, let's face it, if you're not growing your practice, you're losing market share. Stifel is a growing, entrepreneurial, advisor-centric firm built for successful advisors like you. There's a reason why 148 financial advisors joined Stifel last year. Come join us and find out why Stifel is the firm where success meets success. Visit www.choosestifel.com.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
AM 560, The Answer.
Real quick, Dan, did you know that we had a first lady? Stacey Johnson. She's going to be coming out, and they just spent $80,000 redoing the first lady's office at the Cultural Center.
Wonderful.
I wonder what her platform's going to be.
BL and Brandon raising 3 black kids and a black wife. It's nice to see them.
Trying to save her husband, maybe. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
808, we'll talk Hollywood and politics with Christian Toto, the Hollywood in Toto podcaster. 808.
Today we could be breaking a record set in 1928, a high of 87 degrees. It's 8 a.m., WIND, Chicago.
Most Floridians who are in shelters for the storm are back home surveying Milton's damage. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
13,000 were sheltered overnight, so that means that roughly 85,000 people are already heading back to their homes.
Florida Emergency Management Director Kevin Guthrie. Milton blamed for at least 17 deaths, and there are still nearly 2.5 million power outages.
A real challenge continues to be gasoline. Of the state's 8,000 gas stations, 2,000 are without fuel.
Fox's Steve Harrigan out surveying damage in Tampa this morning.
Really, it's one square after another, pretty neat piles of debris all the way down this road. Some of this is from Hurricane Helene 2 weeks ago. Some of it is from Hurricane Milton, and they are waiting for it to be picked up.
Flooding's also been an issue. About 1,000 people have been rescued. Some at a Tampa Senior Center underwater.
It's very scary. It was very cold.
Vice President Harris said while campaigning in Arizona and Nevada.
I cannot stress enough the work that we have been doing around the clock to make sure that the federal resources are on the ground in partnership with state and local leaders.
Former President Trump says the federal response to Hurricane Helene 2 weeks ago, especially in flood-ravaged North Carolina, is the worst ever. He'll campaign in Colorado and Nevada today after going to Detroit, warning about Chinese cars built in Mexico.
They think that they're going to sell all of these cars into the United States, which would destroy Michigan, totally destroy your state. But it's not going to happen.
Former President Obama held an anti-Trump rally in Pennsylvania, but earlier at a Democratic campaign office in Pittsburgh, Obama appeared concerned about Harris's support, especially among black men.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
We just got another inflation update. At the wholesale level this time, they did not increase last month from August, and like consumer prices, the annual rate of producer price inflation declined slightly to 1.8%. America's listening to Fox News.
It's 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities here in Chicago are investigating after witnesses told police they found a box containing human remains on a sidewalk on the city's near west side in the 2600 block of West Taylor. A person of interest is being questioned after an 8-year-old boy was shot on Chicago's southwest side. It happened inside of a home in the 3800 block of West 87th. Police believe the child knew the person who may have fired the shot, and the shooting may be accidental. A man seriously hurt in an apartment fire on Chicago's south side. The blaze broke out yesterday near 104th and South Claremont. The victim sent to the hospital with severe injuries. The cause has not yet been figured out. A jury selection process continues in the federal corruption trial of former Illinois House Speaker Democrat Michael Madigan. Jury has a total of 8 members after 5 individuals were added Thursday. Now attorneys on both sides say the case may take 11 weeks, not 10. Chicago sports. Bears continue preparations for Jacksonville Sunday. They kick off at 8:30 in the morning. Blackhawks look for their first win in the NHL tonight, taking on Winnipeg. College football tonight. Northwestern aims to avoid their 3rd loss in a row when they visit Maryland tonight. The news, a service of Team Hochberg. Let Team Hochberg help you by visiting 56david.com or call 855-563-2843, 56david.com, lower.com equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061, 804. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
JP Morgan's earnings and revenue topped expectations. The big bank says while inflation is slowing, the U.S. economy remains resilient. Several critical issues remain. The stock's up 2%. Wells Fargo's quarter was mixed. It's lowering expectations for the year. Its profit was better than expected, but it was down 11%. Banks are making less from interest now that the Federal Reserve has lowered rates. Wells Fargo shares are up 2.5%. Nippon Steel is working on concessions it hopes will sway regulators to approve its merger with U.S. Steel. Nippon will sell its stake in Calvert JV to Europe-based steel giant ArcelorMittal. Its plant in Alabama produces steel sheets used in cars, appliances, and for other uses. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jen Cosola. Invested in you.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Get your tickets for Freedom Summit Chicago, Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. This year, featuring Dr. Sebastian Gorka, economist Stephen Moore, along with Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, John Anthony, and many more. This event will sell out, so get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Overhead Door, Health Insurance Mentors.com, Trinity School of Natural Health, and by Blue Star Security.
Building owners, property managers, and chief engineers. This one's for you.
Hello, this is Bruce Diedrich with Waukegan Roofing, your professional roofer. Everything starts on top. Your investment, your building, and everything in it is protected by your roof. It needs to be in good shape. That's where we can help. If it needs to be repaired or replaced, or you think it might, call us. Let's find out. Here's the number.
847-623-1625.
At Waukegan Roofing, our employees are union-trained roofing professionals with OSHA safety training certifications and have thorough knowledge and expertise regarding the various roofing systems we sell, maintain, and install. We know commercial roofing systems because that's all we do. Over 110 years of doing commercial roofs. Waukegan Roofing has the slogan,
Roofs you can rely on.
Because you can. Here's the number to call,
847-623-1625.
And get the info at waukeganroofing.com. waukeganroofing.com.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
My husband's a retired cop, and I worked in a hospital for years. I'm going out right now because I'm getting ready to paint my fence. It's just literally amazing. And, you know, you watch the TV articles and you go, yeah. Well, at least it's 100% returnable if it doesn't work. I'm not kidding you. It is the most amazing product I've ever taken.
I love it. I love the product. And not only the product, the people that work for them, too, are really nice. That's another plus. It's the best product on the market.
I think it's a good product, so that's the reason I'll continue to take it.
It's a wonderful product. I'm trying to get as many people as I can to take it.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com and get this special offer by using discount code Chicago.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is, Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
8:08, and let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Eden's right lane blocked inbound side with an accident at Willow and a pole down as well. 18 minutes Lake Cook Road into the junction. A solid 1 hour O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange this morning. Medical emergency right lane blocked. Responders are on the scene outbound Ike between California and Kedzie. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast with Steve Williams.
Partial sun, breezy, a warm one today, high 86. Partly cloudy tonight, low 58. Partly sunny, a shower in spots, a much cooler day tomorrow, the high 67. More clouds than sun, breezy on Sunday, the high at 63. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
55 at O'Hare, 55 Midway. Your next news update, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Do you ever notice that whatever character flaw Trump has, his most vociferous critics have that same character flaw to a much greater degree than he does? I was thinking about that when I happened upon this contretemps between Donald Trump and Whoopi Goldberg. Could anything be more ridiculous? Well, yeah, actually.
They used to be friends.
A lot of things could be more ridiculous. Yeah, and that also is one of Trump's character flaws, too, assessing character. Trump at a rally on Whoopi, and Whoopi responding from her platform with her fellow man-hating shrews on The View.
I watch that stupid View where you have these really dumb people. You know, Whoopi Goldberg said, would you participate in a movie? She made some movie on basketball. This was before I ran for politics. She said, oh, you're so great. If you ever ran for president, you'd win. Politics can do strange things to demented people. Now, I've hired Whoopi to work for me as a comedian before this stuff, and a long time ago. And I went, and, you know, I'm not particularly shy about what I hear. Her mouth was so foul. She was so filthy dirty, disgusting. Half the place left. I said I'd never hire her again.
Even Ted Danson?
Well, thank you for watching.
Yeah. As it turns out, I was filthy. I was filthy. And stand on that fact. I have always.
That's worthy of applause. Okay.
And you knew that when you hired me. A headline, babe, at your casino, which I might have continued to play had you not run it into the ground. Exactly. But, listen, how dumb are you? You hired me 4 times. You can go to William Morris and get the things, because I know you all are going to be looking for it. So talk to William Morris. You hired me 4 times, and you didn't know what you were getting? How dumb are you?
So one of Trump's character flaws is his venality, and I think that's a good example of what I was talking about. It pales in comparison to the venality of people like Whoopi Goldberg. What a sad commentary on our culture. I don't know what is more depressing, that exchange, even though it wasn't, contemporaneous, or the Howard Stern Kamala Harris interview. I don't know which is more telling. Let's see if Christian Toto can adjudicate it for us, I should say. Christian Toto is the host of the Hollywood in Toto podcast, Hollywood in Toto, T-O-T-O, HollywoodInToto.com. If you haven't checked out that podcast, you should. Christian Toto, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
So, Whoopi and Trump, a battle of wits.
Yeah, I think that's kind of Trump at his worst, where he's being just kind of combative and not really having all the facts at his disposal. I mean, it sounds like he worked with Whoopi several times. Whoopi wasn't an unknown entity. She was what she was. She is what she is now. But having said all that, The View is just it's shockingly dumb. It's cruel. It's bereft of facts. I mean, I don't watch the show. I see enough clips to turn my stomach. I mean, it really is embarrassing, and it's supposed to be a show that's about women and strong, and you're empowered. And
yeah,
it's just not well thought out.
Well, it's not just angry. It's what you say. I think where you're going. It's insulting to women who have a couple of marbles rolling around. Anybody who does, but particularly the idea that they're representative of what the strong, independent, thoughtful woman in America is an insult to strong, independent, thoughtful women.
Yeah, and when the show had Meghan McCain on for a while, it got a little bit better. You could see that Meghan did her homework, that she brought facts and reason. I don't agree with Meghan McCain on everything. No one should agree with someone on everything, just not the way life works. But it did elevate the show briefly. But because she was stronger than most of the quote unquote Republicans on the show, it just made it interesting. It brought a level that wasn't there before. But they don't want that. They don't want to have a really a healthy debate. They want to have a pile-on. And I could go through clip after clip after clip. It's like Whoopi saying that Trump wants to be dictator on day one. It's one of these stupid things that gets passed around on the left that is clearly untrue. When you read out what he said, it wasn't what he was trying to say at all remotely. You can't even, if you hear it, you can't even twist it into, oh, yes, he wants to be a dictator. It's just one of these things that the left takes and runs with, and doesn't get fact-checked on.
I think the stupidest thing coming out of the left is saying that when he becomes president, he's going to take us all, all the reporters and put them in camps.
Well, it's funny you say that, and it's funny that a lot of things that you hear from the left, it's a bit of projection. It's almost like, oh my gosh, Trump might commit lawfare against Democrats. Gee, where would they get that idea from? It's so fascinating. And of course, we had 4 years of Trump. You could look at the record. You could see what he did. And none of the scare tactics they're throwing at us happened. It just didn't happen. So why would they magically happen now?
The View is... I should say, I'm just thinking about The View, too, just listening to your description. I mean, it really does. That Sunny Hostin, that Anna Navarro, that
Sarah.
Speaking of Trump's poor assessment of character, again, that Alyssa Griffin, that was a Trump comms person. I mean, that show makes the Man Show look like Firing Line.
It does. Listen, it sounds like we're being over the top and cruel toward the show. We're not. If anything, we're being gentle. It really is atrocious television. It really is insult in every capacity. And gosh, I mean, this is, is it part of the ABC News division? I don't know exactly what the connection there is, but you would think that a major broadcast network pushing this kind of content, I'm not for censorship. It shouldn't be kicked off the air. If the ratings are fine, let it live. But you would think that there'd be embarrassment across the level, at the corporate level, just given the show.
No, let it live, because it's a signal to the rest of right-thinking America where the culture is, that show is on the
absolutely.
air. Something else I wanted to get your take on. You wrote a review over at HollywoodandToto.com. Just in time for the election. Of course, Hollywood's doing its part. The Apprentice, starring Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump and Jeremy Strong, who's actually he was really good in Succession as Roy Cohn. What's the handle here? Just a political hit job?
It is. It doesn't start out that way, and gosh, I've only seen a few episodes of Succession, but Strong is spectacular in this movie. If he gets, nominations across the board, across the different academies and groups, I would not be surprised. He really is terrific as Roy Cohn. It is the early days of Trump where he was just on the rise, where he was trying to get his footing in the New York real estate scene, and those elements are rather interesting. But the film loathes Trump so much, and I think that hurts the movie in two reasons. One, it trots out a lot of cheap shots against him that really don't build the story or help the narrative in any way. They show him getting liposuction and getting a hair transplant.
Are you serious?
Really, really cheap shots that stall the movie. And then basically once he gets some power within that ecosystem, the film essentially ends. There's nothing else to do except attack Trump. And what's fascinating is that instead of showing a three-dimensional Trump where he could be charming and he could be this and he could also be cruel and he could also be blustery, it's so focused on the negative that it's almost like a drinking game. Drink every time a kind moment quickly, sours into a belittling moment. It can't treat him like a human being. And it just, from a storytelling point of view, that's just poison.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the Howard Stern, Kamala Harris interview, which felt more to me like a therapy session. I don't know if you saw it in its entirety. I did. He wants Saturday Night Live to stop poking fun at her.
Yeah, of all the quotes and bits and pieces that came out of the interview, that's the one that jumped out at me the most. Listen, I listened to Howard Stern for decades, and I was a huge fan. He was all about free speech. He was all about fighting against the government and all about, being able to say what you want to say. And now here he is, this sad older gentleman saying, "Oh, Saturday Night Live, don't make fun of Kamala because that could hurt her chances." I couldn't have cringed anymore. It couldn't be more embarrassing. He is destroying his legacy in real time. Someone just tell him, whisper in his ear, "Go take your checks, go away." No, you've done so much in this field. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing everyone on the show. Don't you have a mirror in your house? It's just sad.
Well, it's a cautionary tale. I mean, just of a Shakespearean sort. You have to see this in Hollywood all the time. The outside guy, the maverick, becomes the inside guy, gets the money and the associated acceptance that he always desired, and then becomes an establishment shill.
It's exactly right. He was in an interview recently, I think with the Smartless podcast, and he said, back when I was younger, I couldn't hang out with the celebrities because then I wouldn't be able to speak about them and be honest and truthful. And he was talking about it like it was a negative. And now, he's vacationing with Jimmy Kimmel. I'm thinking, no, that's when you were great, when you could be honest and raw and brutal and say what we were all thinking. That was the reason why Howard Stern became a superstar. Now you can't say anything about anybody because you might meet them at a cocktail party. Don't you see that's wrong? That's the absolute opposite of everything that made you great. It was a stunning thing to hear him spin it in that direction. It was wild.
Can you give us the details on that benefit concert that Bruce Springsteen and other artists are organizing for the Hurricane Helene victims?
Oh, I mean, we don't have enough time for all the details. No, I don't know what's going on. I've written about this. After Hurricane Katrina, listen, Hollywood can do good things. They can raise money. They can raise awareness. They could rally resources, and they did just that with Hurricane Katrina. If you Google Brad Pitt and housing, it didn't actually work out well in his case, but
Right.
he was trying for sure. But where is it with the current hurricane situation? I mean, the devastation is off the charts. Certainly the death count is much lower this time around than with Hurricane Katrina. I acknowledge that. But, I think outside the country music ecosystem, there's not much going on with Hollywood. It's very strange. And you gotta think a little bit about the reasons why. I think the media is downplaying the devastation because it won't look good for the Biden-Harris team. But also, if you rally to the cause and say how horrible this is, maybe that doesn't make the Biden-Harris team look good either.
Well, yeah. Well, also too. I mean, you don't have a moment like Kanye West took advantage of back in the day to say George W. Bush hates black people. I mean, what are you going to do? Say Donald Trump hates white hillbillies? I mean, they're not. That doesn't quite have the same political currency.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing in the last few years how Hollywood's morality. Remember kids in cages, all the things going on at the border. Well, that dried up when Trump was out of office. And, remember October 7th, where are the celebrities, demanding the release of the hostages? There are very, very, very few doing just that. They've been awful on the issue of Hamas terrorism. There are some notable exceptions. Amy Schumer, Deborah Messing, Patricia Heaton, Michael Rappaport. But, boy, you can name them all and fit them on one hand. It's embarrassing.
Christian Toto, host of the Hollywood in Toto podcast. That's HollywoodInToto.com. Christian, thank you as always.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you own or run a business and you listen to AM 560, you might not realize that the conservative programming that you enjoy is supported by advertisers. Our loyal listeners love to do business with the advertisers they hear every day on AM 560. Now, it probably won't surprise you that there are some businesses who avoid advertising with us because they don't like what we do here. And that's okay, because our audience wants to support businesses that support what we do and think like we think. We would love to have you join the list of successful companies who are already reaching new, like-minded customers. Most AM 560 advertisers have been here for years for one simple reason: they get results. Join our efforts to make a difference in the lives of our listeners who are passionate about supporting our great family of AM 560 advertisers. To learn more, just visit 560theanswer.com/advertise. That's 560theanswer.com/advertise.
All right. This fall season, don't forget your Balance of Nature supplements, a proud sponsor of this show for the last 10 years. Turkey, pumpkin pie, ice cream, not going to cut it. Your body needs fruits and vegetables to stay healthy, to stay happy. And that's why I've been taking it for nearly a decade. It's so easy. I pop open the individual capsules into warm water. You can also dust them over your salad or mix them into juice drinks. That's how I do it. And it makes me feel great. Thousands of AM 560 listeners love their Balance of Nature, and you will too. 6 capsules a day provides your body, your heart, and mind with over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables. You will love it, and your body, mind, and heart will thank you for it. Order your fruits and vegetable supplements today by calling 800-246-8751. Use coupon code Chicago to save 35% off your first set and free shipping when you sign up as a new preferred customer. 800-246-8751. Call now or order online at balanceofnature.com and use coupon code Chicago to save 35%.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
AM 560. The Answer.
Open mic! Open mic Friday! Call in now! Open mic Friday!
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Yes, it's that time of the week. Open mic Friday, that is. Taking your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line with comments, compliments, criticisms, concerns. General Crack Pottery will take it all. 312-642-5600. And we begin, as we do, with turnkey.pro founder David Kolsak.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Hey, so, Dan, did your house do okay with the latest hurricane in Florida?
I did, yes. I managed to escape unscathed.
Perfect. Love to hear that. Well, after last week's segment, our spot anyway, that I got a lot of feedback from listeners, a lot of it. And genuinely, it was all positive. You know, I hear things like, hey, can I get a copy of what you said on your weekly dialogue? And thanks, I looked up what you were talking about, and it made me think differently. Man, you really get under Dan's skin, right? So in any case, that's why I carefully think about what I'm talking about. Pardon me?
I said, what did I miss last Friday? What was the premise of
you
your
got to
rant?
go back and listen to it.
All right, I'll listen.
It was fun. Okay. In any case, that's why I try to carefully think about what I'm saying and articulate something that's on point, maybe a little interesting, and has a bit of different thinking where I connect dots that maybe people might not have thought about. The thing is that you have to have an open mind, I think, when you listen to me call in. As I say, it might make you question your own reality, or it may trigger you. The thing is, I could be completely correct in my assessment of a situation, or I could be completely wrong. However, I feel like the so-called conspiracy theorists are like 127-0 going back to 2015 when Trump came down the escalator. I remember thinking at that time that Trump was saying what everyone was thinking but was afraid to say. I was the first person I know in my circle that predicted he would win, and I wasn't afraid to speak my mind then, and I'm not afraid to speak it now. But it's not about being right as much as it's about finding the truth. So if you can't admit that they've lied to us about so much, then I don't think I can help you. But so even if there's a chance that my thoughts or theories that I bring up on this show could be true, I think it's worth discussing. And I certainly welcome civil debate. But let's get some perspective here, that we're not on a presidential stage, but we're rather on what's supposed to be a fun segment called Open Mic Friday, which is kind of my intention. And you may classify me in the crack pottery department, and I'm okay with that. But what I'm bringing here is something that I know people are interested in hearing because I hear it directly from them. So that's why I continue to show up every week. The thing is that the collective consciousness, I think, of the world is changing, and you can either embrace it and investigate it or dig into your traditional thinking and bury your head in the sand. I started about a year ago calling in, and people should be able to question everything that they want, from fake moon landings to chemtrails and weather manipulation to Building 7, Tomahawk missiles drilled into the Pentagon. It's all on the table, and I think people are ready to discuss it. So the people are ready to ask the tough questions, and I'm all for it, and I hope you are too. So have a great weekend.
Okay, very good. Thank you, David. Eduardo in Tampa Bay. What happened to you, Eduardo?
Okay, so I did fine. The only thing, I just lost internet, which I just got back today, but no roof damage, no flooding, power stayed on. So, but we did get significant damage with power lines being down and a lot of trees down, and there's still some businesses that are closed. But we got gas.
That's good.
So, yep.
So where are you staying? I mean, is it so warm down there that you can't stay in your place without air conditioning?
Oh, no, we never lost power.
Oh.
I stayed in my house. Yeah, I stayed in my house the whole time. We never lost power, yeah. So I was one of the lucky ones.
Have you gotten a handle where Lieutenant Dan is at this moment?
I saw that on Daily Mail this morning. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. He's representing your community. Yeah.
Yeah, I like sailing, but not that extreme.
All right. Thanks, Eduardo. Glad you're okay. You survived unscathed as well. It's good. Glenn, not in Orlando.
Not in Orlando, but everything in Orlando is back to normal. We got power, no water damage, no wind damage.
Good.
Everything's good.
Good.
And how did
Everything
that
is
hospital?
good.
That hospital stayed open too during.
That was Tampa.
That was
The
Tampa.
one that they put the panels up around?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
Right. So everything is good. So I wanted to end Friday on a humorous note. The New York mayor warns migrants if you keep attacking the NYPD officers, you will be downgraded to a 4-star hotel.
Hi-oh.
Oh.
Thanks, Glenn. Prime Minister.
Oh no! Keep it
Yeah.
short-ish.
Dan, the perspicacious one. The perspicacious prof. Amy, do you know what that word means?
I can't understand your thick accent.
Perspicacious.
Perspicacious.
Yeah, it's
kind of like cantankerous.
That's a brogue.
That's
No,
a brogue.
Amy?
No.
Okay, well.
Amy, it means a ready insight into an understanding of things. Clever, sharp, far-sighted, intelligent. Amy, do you agree that Dan is perspicacious?
All that, and he has a wonderful misdemeanor.
A wonderful misdemeanor. All right, keep going, PM. Keep reading from your dictionary. Go ahead.
Fake news, views, and reviews. You two know that the Prime Minister is the shelf in Governor J.B. Lizzo's inner cabinet because I speak truth to gubernatorial power. But Lizzo and the rest of the center-left Democrats are panicking. Dan, you said you're unscathed, but I'll tell you who's completely scathed. Kamala's polling lower than a stripper with vertigo. Until a few months ago, she'd sing in the car, but only when driving in reverse. Amy, why is that?
I don't know, Prime Minister. Please tell me.
Because she was a backup singer. Kamala's not playing well on prime time, and here's why. Her mother, the Indian scientist, didn't have an arranged marriage. She had a poorly arranged marriage. Hindu liquor does not mix with Jamaican rum. The bitter divorce meant that growing up, Kamala didn't get sufficient attention from her real daddy. Ergo, the 29-year-old finds herself seeking attention of a sugar daddy, a 61-year-old tomcat who incidentally was married. So she became a whore, one for whom love isn't needed for sex, because validation, moolah, and prestige substitute for the loose woman's desire. Now the left is realizing not only their candidate is no left-handed poker, but that she got to the upper echelons by playing the willing sex professional. It's like waking up to find the little house on the prairie is a brothel. Nevertheless, perspicacious prof, methinks you don't grasp how deeply the American electorate suffers from Stockholm Syndrome. Never underestimate the amount of pain and suffering your American voters will heap upon themselves so long as they can blame it on someone else. P.J. O'Rourke said, every government is a parliament of whores. Trouble is, in a democracy, the whores are us. Now, that's not amateur found, that's profound. Thank you very much.
Very good, PM. That was one of his better ones. I like referring to Willie Brown as a tomcat.
Can I get something off my chest, boss?
Uh-huh.
Why are serious women with jobs do stupid interviews? Gretchen Whitmer, she's trying to be some TikTok star or something. Remember, she is the governor of Michigan. And she did something that was so sacrilegious. She was with some social media star who was on her knees sucking down a Dorito that Gretchen gave her. They were mocking communion, and it was very sacrilegious. And then they sat down for a little girl power talk and had a conversation about abortion.
Okay, and you have 2 daughters. When they come back home and they leave their Stanley cups lying around, do you ever think about getting a post-birth abortion?
Well, first of all, thank you for raising that because there's no such thing.
Great.
So I think it's really
On the
important
record.
for us to make sure people understand that when people like Donald Trump say that after birth abortion, that's just not really a thing that exists. So
There are 5 cases in Minnesota that we know of.
Did you start this by saying serious women? Who said
Well,
who said she's a serious woman?
Well, she has a serious job.
The Eva
excuse me.
Perón of East Lansing.
She is governor of a state.
Yeah, well,
and
Kamala
she
Harris.
is
Kamala
a
Harris has
joke.
a serious job too, being the vice president of the United States. But it doesn't mean that you're a serious person. There's a lot of unserious people in serious jobs. It's part of the problem. Gretchen Whitmer is, ready-made to assume her seat on the View. I mean, she is bizarre. I mean, you want to talk about weird. It's not just one. It's all of these videos. She's just constantly doing these garish, performative TikTok videos. Here's another one, a compilation of her using all the slang terms of the day because this menopausal chick out of East Lansing is down with kids.
I'm here with volunteers and they're cooking with gas. This slaps hell up. My house party just slayed. I'm calling
Slayed.
voters today, rizzing them up.
Rizzing.
Trump wants to ship union jobs overseas, not chill. This is
Chill.
gas. Trump wants to cut
Gas.
taxes for billionaires. I'm leaving the chat. No cap. I'm Swifty AF. It's giving the next president.
I watched that video. It's just I run out of words with these women's behavior.
Your dad dancing at a wedding. That's Gretchen Whitmer doing, chat slang, internet chat slang. I mean, there's another one where she's doing charades with some effeminate staffer or podcast. I don't know who
I don't
this
even
guy
know who that a
is.
guy is either.
Whatever. That's what you got.
We tweeted this out. If you want to be mortified, you can see it for yourself.
And if Michigan voters don't reject Slotkin, Whitmer, and Harris, then that's a state that's more lost than I thought too. Steve in Deerfield.
Yeah, hi. I've got a condominium in St. Petersburg, Florida, which I spend 6 months a year in. So I'm hearing from my friends what's really going on there that mainstream media is not reporting.
What?
So 3 of my friends have reported they've been temporarily blinded by Jewish space lasers. Haitian immigrants broke into.
It's supposed to be funny. Get better writer, Stephen Deerfield. Joey in Door County.
Hey, y'all. The PM aside, it was pointed out to me during my last visit to Ireland that it seems America has lost its sense of humor. And I'm pretty sure that that's correct.
Well, there's certain things you can't make. Thanks for
certain
the call.
movies that were made before that cannot be made again.
Well, I mean, Howard Stern saying, SNL don't parody Harrison Walls and so forth. Yeah.
And he used to do parody all the time. He put on blackface, pretended to be Clarence Thomas. I mean, he's done.
Yeah, he's done a lot of things that aren't.
things.
He's done a lot of things that aren't funny over the years too. He's a volume comic, I suppose. But yeah, we lost our sense of humor in a sense, and then we've also lost the ability to take serious things seriously. So we're sort of on the wrong side of both of those matters, aren't we? That's what happens when you live in a humorless, censorious culture that is dominated by new Bolsheviks and useful idiots for the new Bolsheviks like Steve from Deerfield. Suzanne in Mount Prospect.
Yes. On Wednesday, you had talked about a study that said a large number of Christians will not be voting in the upcoming election.
Mm-hmm.
One woman who called said one reason Christians wouldn't be voting might be due to the Trump's revised stand on abortion. During major elections, Pastor Gary Hamrick from Cornerstone Chapel in Leesburg, Virginia, gives an election sermon to provide churchgoers with the importance and reasoning why Christians need to participate in elections. And I just wanted to highly recommend any Christians who do not intend to participate, watch his sermon and see if their heart doesn't change and understand why they have a responsibility to vote. His sermon can be accessed through his teaching library at cornerstonechapel.net. The sermon dated September 8th, 2024, or it went viral on YouTube. It got over 700,000 views, and you can see that by searching Gary Hamrick Election Day Sermon 2024, and then also it's been published and is available through christianbooks.com and Amazon. And the name of the sermon is called "Why Your Vote Matters: A Biblical Perspective." A biblical perspective for the soul of America.
Thanks for the call, Suzanne.
Thank you. Thanks for the
Appreciate it.
information.
Mike in Westmont.
Hi.
Hey, Mike.
Hi.
Dan and Amy.
Yep.
I got a little Fauci spoof. I'm no Remy, so I hope you can recognize it, but I think you'll like it with apologies to Bruce Johnson and Barry Manilow. It's called "I Righted the Wrongs."
I right the wrongs.
I right the wrongs. Okay, very good. Go ahead.
I was a G-man forever, and I brought gain of function along. I brought the Chinese and the NIH together. I am science, and I righted COVID's wrongs. I righted the wrongs by co-opting the CDC. I righted the wrongs of church and family gatherings. I righted the wrongs that made teachers' unions cry. I righted the wrongs, I righted the wrongs. Oh, my stardom depended on you, and I pitched for the Nationals, too. But when Senator Paul cross-examines me, he threatens my royalties. I've denied that the lab leak was real, and that I'm paid pharma royalties still. But I ordered masking so you could all breathe. It's all me, but for you, mandatory for you. Because of me, I caused a worldwide quarantine. I righted the wrongs by courting the unsuspicious woke. I righted the wrongs by making ivermectin a joke. I righted the wrongs by stopping barbecues and weddings. I righted the wrongs, I righted the wrongs. I am science, but now I am gone.
Mike, I got to say two things about that. A great lyricist, you need to find somebody to write for. I would say.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, I mean-
yeah.
No doubt.
No, that was
good,
very
though.
good. That was very
You
good.
held your
Hence my Remy reference. I need to get Remy on that.
You do. That's,
Yeah, you could write it for
You should, collaborate with Remy. Very good. No, that was
great.
good though, and I appreciate the guts to sing it. Thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it. That was good.
I love our listeners.
Dave and Darian.
Hey, hi, Mike. I mean, Dan.
Hi, wow, he's that
Mike.
popular now.
Yeah.
You got Bigfooted, Dan.
Yeah, Mike. He's available if you want to talk to him too. Yeah.
He sings pretty good, so I don't know, maybe. Hey, I wanted to bring some attention to a story in the news that's not getting a lot of it. It's that Senate race in Nebraska where the Dems are running an independent candidate by the name of Osborne.
Dan Osborne, yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to use the Osborne name for the Cornhuskers, and he's really doing well, and he's got some crazy ideas. I don't know if you have listeners in Nebraska, but it really needs to be discussed because it's this type of smarmy stuff that the Democrats do. So I wanted to say.
Yeah, thanks for the call. It's good to put Deb Fischer on the radar. I know that Republicans have booked a late, substantial ad campaign for the late run here for Fischer. It's sort of surprisingly close for Nebraska, which is pretty deep red state these days.
They've won electoral vote coming out of Omaha that, CNN saying that could be the deciding vote.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I mean, I can't see how Deb Fischer loses that race. Although, I mean, it may indicate something that is, a complication that sort of makes the electoral picture a little bit more opaque than you might think, which is sort of an anti-incumbency attitude among the electorate. And so, maybe this is why, for example, Ted Cruz is in a relatively close battle in Texas, why Rick Scott is certainly underperforming Trump in Florida. I mean, be careful, and this is where Republican incumbents need to be careful, even in states that are otherwise red, is that anti-incumbent segment. If there's a lot of Republicans who don't feel like somebody who's been given a chance has been aggressive enough in fighting all that has transpired over the last 4 years or 8 years, then, you could see some attrition from the top of the ballot to the Senate races, for example. So you're right to put Fisher on the radar because she's on Republicans' radar right now in terms of concern. Tom in Barrington.
Oh, hey, Tom.
Dan, Amy, good morning.
How did your fundraiser go?
Oh, you guys, it was fantastic. 2 out of 3 people that showed up were from your show.
Good.
It was excellent. And we're doing it again tomorrow. And if you would indulge me, we're doing it from 2 to 6 p.m., same location, 1500 McConnor Parkway in Schaumburg, which is like right across from Costco there, and we're right behind Morton's Steakhouse. And I have to tell you, listeners showed up to drop off and then stayed for 3 hours to help load the trucks.
Wow. Yep.
That's the kind of people we have in this community.
Well, you sort of buried the lead. Tell us again what you're doing for people who don't know. Tell us again what you're doing and where you're doing it and what you need.
Okay, we partnered with Moms for America and America's Wall of Honor, which is a new monument that we'll be bringing to Chicago hopefully in the next 3 months. But we're doing hurricane relief for the Carolinas. The Carolinas have really been hit really hard, as we're finding out. But we're doing looking for baby goods, formula, diapers, wipes, and also diaper rash ointment. And in addition to that, we're looking for non-perishable food items, toothbrush, toothpaste, feminine hygiene products. They will not be going to Minnesota.
I didn't want to make a joke of it, but I mean, I thought the diaper
those are needed.
The diaper rash ointment, is that for Biden? I mean, it's an easy one. It's too easy. Yeah, I shouldn't take.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. And then if anybody could swing a new generator, that would be great. And batteries. Batteries of different sizes would be excellent.
Okay. Okay. So all those items back of Morton's in Schaumburg by the mall there, and would you say 2 to 6?
2 to 6 p.m.
tomorrow.
2 to 6 p.m. And there was a gal that came over who also listened, who had a brother in Asheville, and she dropped off, started crying. She ended up staying for 3 hours helping us load. Tomorrow she's bringing 11 friends to help set up tables, to sort, and help pack. I mean, you guys, have a lot of pride of where you work and what you do, because you've got we're blessed with a tremendous community here in Chicago. And one of the best parts, besides doing something good for people, is meeting the great patriots we have in our community at AM 560. Just phenomenal.
And this is going to get to the people in need, correct?
This is going to get to the people in need. Okay. Of course.
You're not doing a photo op with Kamala Harris? No.
Yeah, we're not going to load a C-17 and then leave it on the tarmac loaded and going nowhere.
Incredible. Tom,
they can go. Yeah. They can pound crap as far as I'm concerned.
We love Tom Sadek. Tom, thanks so much, and Godspeed.
Thank you, guys.
Godspeed. Appreciate it.
Love you guys. Take care.
We love you too. And Hoke, he knows what that means.
Kevin, Austin, Texas.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. As odious as Gretchen Whitmer is, and she is, and J.D. Pritzker and the rest of them, they know how to get out the vote. They organize. They tell people. You referenced earlier that the election on November 4th, the election's already started in Illinois. I think over 200,000 people have already early voted. Mm-hmm. And what that does is if Republicans go out and early vote, it frees up resources because campaigns will know if somebody voted or not. So then they can go along and target somebody else, send them a text message, email, knock on their door to get them out to vote. I really hope that Illinois at some point gets an organization out, because they start working the day after the election to get out the vote operations, that type of thing. So, I call every week. I really hope you do a segment on the mechanics of how politics works and what Illinois Republicans need to do, and not just a Republican establishment. I'm talking about everyday people. They become precinct chairs, how that they can change the Republican Party, have influence on who's the candidate it's going to be, and that type of thing. So, anyhow, go out and vote now. Vote now.
And bring people with you to vote.
Thanks
I'm
for the
bringing
call,
two
Kevin.
newbies with me. They're my son's friends, but I'm like, okay.
What
I can do
country are they
something.
from?
Well, one, his mom came here illegally from, I can't remember, El Salvador. And so he's worried that if Trump gets in office, she's going to be deported. I'm like, your mom is not going to be deported. She's not committed any crimes. I mean, I can't guarantee that, but
She came here illegally. That's
decades ago, and has 3 kids that were born here.
I mean, I'm not advocating
Just
for her
saying she's a law-abiding-
deportation, but I mean,
So-
I'm not taking the position of Kamala Harris that coming here illegally is not a crime. It has the illegally
Maybe
in
I
it. That's
say
how you know.
Too much.
Bob and Wilmette.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. And Dan, it's kind of following up on your assessment of the Howard Sterns of the world. Now, number one, I think you had an apt description for him yesterday, bathroom humor. I mean, I've never found the guy genuinely that funny. I mean, it's pretty scatological, but
Yeah.
not to be a comedy snob. But anyways, it's him. And you look at David Letterman. These guys used to be like firebrands against the man, which was the government back then, libertarian leaning sorts. And now they're just shilling for the left like complete weaklings. And look at David Letterman. I think he was doing a tour with Michelle Obama earlier in the year. He looks like a whacked out Burl Ives. And,
He does. He does like a Burl Ives on meth. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not funny anymore. And even Stephen Chapman, the columnist for the Tribune, he's gone more woke, and he used to be a huge libertarian. And it's just weird and awful to see.
Thanks for the call, Bob. Dawn, Naperville.
Good morning. I know that Bob from Buffalo Grove called in a few weeks ago and had asked what the heck was going wrong with our education system. So, Bob, from one engineer to another, I think you'd really love Temple Grandin's latest book, Visual Thinking, The Hidden Gifts of People Who Think in Pictures, Patterns, and Abstractions. It's a really good book, and it's not just for people who have children with autism, but she teaches and explains why we teach math and literacy wrong in this country. But I have a quick question. Has anybody ever seen The Good Wife, that TV show?
Yeah. I've seen
Uh,
it.
every
I
time-
saw it. It wasn't gr- it
Every
wasn't
time the Irish Prime Minister comes on, I'm picturing the character Eli Gold,
Yeah.
who is the campaign manager in that show. Is it just me?
No, I can see that. I can see the comparison. That's not bad. Yeah, not
Yeah.
bad.
All right.
Very
Have a great
good.
weekend, everybody.
Thanks, Dawn. Bart in Bradenton.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. How are you?
Morning.
Love Bradenton's one of my favorite places in the world. How are you doing?
Did you guys? You guys took a beating, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm over in Lakewood Ranch, so
Yeah,
we're,
okay.
we're good. But,
Yeah,
even with the devastation, Florida is still 100 times better than Illinois. Correct.
Correct.
True.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, I've got a problem though. My local courses are all going to be shut down for about a week for repairs and whatnot. What would you think about a member guest at Old Florida? And I'll spring for the transfusions.
Oh, really? If you're throwing the transfusions, you certainly sweeten the pot. Yeah, no, I'm happy to do like a home and home. Like, yeah, you can. Hold on, we'll get your information. You want to come down and play Old Florida? Even if I'm not there, you can play in a company. We'll get you down there. Yeah, I don't want you to go a week without golf. I mean, that's inhuman in these difficult times.
You have to do your part, Dan.
I
You
know.
have to step
I
up
mean-
and help people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not Tom Sedeka, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try and do something for somebody.
I'm going to have to chip balls over my pond into my neighbor's backyard in a day or so. It's getting desperate.
Yeah, no, I know it sounds like a bad situation.
I mean,
so
this is-
just
the man's
just,
in peril, Dan.
Yeah, just all right. Just keep it together. Help is
All right.
on the way, Bart. Just hold on, hold on. All right, hold on. Get Bart's information. Quinn, get Bart's information. We'll get you set up.
You know where Bradenton, Florida, why it holds a special place in my heart. It's the home of Bubba and Bunky.
Oh, your dogs.
Yes, I had the best breeder out there, and thank God they're fine. And the new pups, their siblings made it. Thank God.
Okay, very good.
I love those babies.
David in Lansing.
Good morning. 4 voting tips for Republicans to win this time. Number 1, vote at least 1 week early. Do what the left does while they're stealing elections. That's why they hang around the polls early when no one's looking. Number 2, find and print a sample ballot today. And the Illinois Family Institute has a lot of good candidates to review. You should contact them as soon as possible. Review your ballots, and look up everybody before you vote. Number 3, vote in groups, because if you're on your own, the leftists that run the machines will target you like they tried to target me and get me arrested twice. And that brings me to number 4. The reason they tried to arrest me twice is because I was taking pictures of my ballot, which is entirely 100% legal in Illinois. Go to the Illinois compiled statutes.
We've covered this. Yes, we've covered this. We don't need the citation. We trust you, David.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Vote early and don't vote often.
Thanks for the call, David. By the way, I did want to get to this. I almost forgot, but
what?
Biden's co-campaign chairman, one with his co-chairman was Chris Coons, the senator from Delaware, and you remember his other campaign co-chairman was Cookie Monster.
In fact, some of the small snack companies, you won't even notice what they're doing. When they charge you just as much for the same size bag of potato chips, only has a hell of a lot fewer chips in it. I'll tell you who did notice, the Cookie Monster.
Oh my God.
He pointed out his cookies are getting smaller, paying the same price. I was stunned when I found out that's what actually happened.
Where's
Cookie? Cookie Monster, Biden's co-campaign chairman, is obviously with the campaign now shuttered. He relocated to Germany, apparently.
Oh, he
did? And he was caught on one of those speed cameras doing a 60 and a 50, and police are looking for him because he was also... He looks like he may be driving impaired based on those eyeballs.
Because he's the Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
They put him in. That's great, AI.
And for those people who were wondering, the Cookie Monster drives an Audi.
Oh.
And I wouldn't have guessed. Chuck and Delavan to close it out.
Hey, Steve, thanks for mentioning my band in high school, Diaper Rash Ointment.
Diaper Rash Ointment. His name's Tom Sadeka, yes.
Sorry. Big day tomorrow. Rob Nagel, my buddy, the mayor of Como, it's his 40th birthday party. Little shout out to him. I'm making the deviled eggs. It's that time of year again, kids. Everybody head out to Lake Geneva. Put on your lederhosen. And it's UPA bands will be there, and you can go and they'll play the one game where you got to hold your beer stein out the longest. And then after getting liquored up over there, everybody let's head over to the Lake Geneva Axe Company and throw axes. So
right,
you guys have a great weekend.
Drinking and axes. What could go wrong? Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it.
Thanks to Justin Kosick and Quinn McCarthy. Enjoy today. Sunshine, a high near 87 degrees. It is 9 a.m. WIND Chicago.
It's another day, picking up the pieces from Hurricane Milton. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We're going to come back. We're not going to play the victim and lay down.
Bradenton Beach Mayor John Chappie dealing with cleanup from 2 hurricanes in 2 weeks in Florida, but he tells Fox.
So much to be grateful for. No deaths. My neighbors hopefully will come back and rebuild on these homes that have been totally destroyed.
Some of Milton's damage also from tornadoes Wednesday.
As soon as the windows exploded, I grabbed the 2 dogs that I had with me, and then I ran into the bedroom. I threw them under the bed.
And Connor Farron tells Fox he didn't find his cat till yesterday, alive, luckily. But his house in Fort Myers is a long